are you playing that's so unsettling? I gotta listen real quick here.
It should be quieter now. It's just music from Metro Nexus.
Oh, okay, okay.
I put together a playlist for 2D last month to play while we were in standby mode, as I figure out more and more about how Twitch works and how complicated I can make it for myself. And I thought I would do that. Which actually, that's so we're live now, Peter. By the way, folks should be hearing this. If you can't, please. Well, I guess you'd have no way of telling me. But this is music that you should be able to hear it very quiet in the background still. It's music from Metro Nexus. But I'd like to do, for lobby music for the stream going forward, I'd like to have music from all the games that we play. So if you're a dev or you know one, send me those waves and I'll throw them in the playlist and we can have them cycle through at future events. Not just playtest events, but all the other IDGA TC events. I think it'd be kind of a nice thing to have, rather than try to get away with some music we don't have rights to, which I think is a thing that happens on Twitch most of the time. Little bit of community promo. Anyway, that's a thought. Peter, you have curated a whole list of games for tonight that are in development or have demos out that are not quite ready for purchase, but getting a little closer for us to try out tonight, right?
Yes, we have a good slew of things from like early prototype to things that got featured on PAX Online for this week. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some things. I'm looking at our our Discord here. For those of you who are in the stream and not in the Discord, the link is gonna be in our right below in the about section for our GDATC here. Proto hype. See, Lane knows what's up. Lane gets it. But if you guys in chat have downloaded Parsec, it is always in our Discord on the events info how to friend IGDATC on Parsec. And as soon as you make that friend request, Mark can approve your friendship, and you guys will be officially Parsec friends.
I'll have to consider the request first, but I just fair warning.
But he will.
I say yes to all of them, so please friend us.
Okay. But after that stage, he'll be able to hop into the game as soon as we have him uploaded or have them running on his remote box. So that's how our streams work out.
Yep. So if you want to play, there's a bit.ly link on screen, and there's a link in the description, I think, on the thing on the shelf they call it underneath the stream there on the page. So you can get that information. I don't think we're ready for folks yet because no one's joined the queue. So why don't we get started with something that Peter, you or I could play?
Yes. I would love to showcase Roll Home, which is something that was just... Yeah, oh man. Oh gosh. Let me hit you guys with the link in the description or in the Twitch here. But Roll Home, I found it on itch.io. It's a fabulous little puzzle game that has incredible aesthetics. And this is like, as far as I know, very, very early prototyping. Like they have a light trailer, and I made a comment 5 days ago, and that's how new this game was. Is that I was really, really digging for like games that are super, super early in development, and then of course some things that were also later and like all variant stages in between.
So I'm at the wheel here. Peter, you're free to take over at any time if you want to join me via Parsec. But I'll give this one a go. I did try to play a little bit earlier, so I kind of know the drill. And Peter, while I get started and look at these adorable, hilarious little characters, why don't you tell me a little bit about this developer?
Yeah. So Roll Home is going to be developed by a crew of Duncan Corrigan, Wayne Pelzer, Kevin Tabar, and Ben Taylor, who have made several other games over the project. But this one was actually a 48-hour, almost like a jam, almost like a game jam. But you can see how adorable it is. Oh, Mark.
And once you get everybody, it makes it into a little house for everyone.
Exactly. And that is the goal of the game.
And then here's, it's teaching you that, oh no, you can't roll this way. Right? And so it's like, okay, well then how am I supposed to get that last, you know? There we go. Okay, look at that. And it animates a little roof for everybody. And then, okay, so there's a bunch of little boxes here. Well, okay, I'm in control of this one. So if I... Oh, now I'm in control of the whole... and then smush.
See, this game has some very, again, cute, adorable aesthetics.
And then
in
here,
terms of a puzzle mechanic...
Like, oh, I cannot... So I'm just demonstrating how, like, these are sort of intro levels of explaining the concepts. You can connect to them, you know, at any point, and then... But then I'm now not able to get that one. Of course, you just can go straight through and it will work pretty well. Now here's the new idea, which is crossing a bridge. So if I just grab that and then I try to connect it, okay, great. But now I'm not long enough to cross that thing. So I need to set it up where I can get it directly. And this is where it starts to get like, oh, real brain teaser. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if I go this way... No, because what I need to do is I need to... In this motion, I need to step on that character. And so... There we go. And now, but there's another problem, which is now I need to cross this gap. And I actually can't when I'm positioned that way. So I have to do this in a different order.
Oh my goodness. I'm watching the stream and I was like, oh gosh, that's right. No, like this is the really cool element of the puzzle right here. And I was like, oh yes, I remember I played through this earlier too, and I was like, oh my goodness. There's some really good like brain teasery puzzles here. And I think we're coming up on the section where we both got stuck.
Yeah, okay. This one I remember being really tricky, but and so actually what I need to do, I need to go from this side. Nope, same problem. I forget what the trick was. I played this just like 2 hours ago, and I'm like, what was it? So I'm going to struggle at this for a little while. So if you have more information to share, please do.
Oh, I will, yes. I'm just checking our Discord again. It looks like Fex is getting almost ready here, but I'm going to let them know as Fex, as soon as you're ready and have sent your friend request, we can get you on stream.
There we go. So the thing that's interesting is like you start to realize what the possibility space is as you start putting these things together. I just fell right off. So for example, if I going for this one first means that I have to sort of smush the last one with this motion, right? Which means I will be on top of that last character when I do that motion. And so that means that if I imagine there, I'm like, oh, well then there is literally no way for me to beat it. So that tells me that I should actually pick up that lone person first. And so I know that's true, right? Like you can sort of like eliminate possibilities that are not. And that's sort of an interesting kind of way to do this as a puzzle game. I forgot exactly how I was supposed to just did this.
See, I'm also a big fan of this because, like, in terms of the amount of developers on this, they have like a full, like, they have their concise team in terms of like having art, programming, animation, and then music, and that's just bare bones. And I was like, that is exactly almost everything you need to make it almost like any game for that matter. But the fact that they got this kind of like this amount of quality done in 48 hours really made me like, oh, I gotta this. This is what made it stand out to me. It's like, oh man, like we have to showcase this.
Yeah, this is the one I got stuck on. Is this the same with you, Peter?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, this is the one I cannot do. Yes.
And so I can walk you through my logic, and you can maybe audit me and let me know if I'm crazy or not. So, in order to cross this gap here, you need to be a straight line, right? And so you need to either be, and I actually have my mouse here, so I could probably point. Yeah, you can see my mouse on the stream. So you need to cross this gap, which means you need to be a vertical piece here when you land on this person, right? Which means you need to either be here prior, or here, or yeah, here prior, right? So okay, so let's play out this. In order to get this one, this means that this one I have to get this character last, because there is no way to get this character and then lay flat here, because you can't. There's no purchase here to land on. So process elimination, figure that all out. So you have to get this one first. All right. So there's one position that you can claim this one, which is here. It's the only way you can get that. So I know that has to be the way it works. So it's like, oh, I can't do that because that's not the right shape, and so I can't. This space, this row here is the only row I can stand on, right? I can't flop down onto that space, which I would have to do in order to pick up that another person. So here's the thing I was thinking of. If the game worked where I could attach here, right? If I didn't lose when that happened, then I could attach, come back here, and then stand up on top of there. It's the only way I could think of to actually solve this one. I feel like I really racked my brain, and I'm like, is it broken? Am I stupid?
No, I'm feeling 100% the same way. And in fact, we actually have Fax who's ready now. So if you want to give them permission, I actually don't know who Fax is. Fax Gem, you are invited to the stage. By the time you hear this. Oh, that was good timing.
Hello.
Welcome, Fax. How are you doing tonight? Good. You might want to turn on your microphone just a little bit. Something's going on, my friend. Okay, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Can you?
Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
Yes, just a tiny bit. You also want to mute your microphone, mute your stream. Don't want that feedback loop.
I mean, don't we? No, we don't.
No. We're not trying to. Actually, that'd be a cool video game mechanic. I've actually wanted to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like a feedback loop kind of mechanic.
So we do have our player here, and if you're unable to turn your microphone on, I could artificially turn you up on my end. Go ahead and give me a test 1, 2. Still pretty quiet. Well, we're just gonna have to muddle through it. No worries. Peter, do you have a game lined up? Are we gonna try Roll Home again?
I would like for them to play through Roll Home and for them to give us feedback, because now we can go into like the feedback section here, because we've showcased the game, and now why don't we have a player give it a try?
All right. I have just approved your friend request, so you now need to connect to the machine, which is named Icebox. So in the Computers tab, it's the top tab on the left side in Parsec, you'll see, oh, there you go. I will accept your connection. You now have the connection to my machine. You should see a little message that says, hey, it's doing something else. I'm going to open up the game, and then you should have control. I'm going to take my controller offline, just in case the game doesn't handle 2 controllers connected. I don't know. I think it's keyboard friendly, but you let me know. Do you have a controller, or you don't want to play with keyboard?
I have a controller.
Okay. Cool.
I do have a push-to-talk key to my keyboard, however.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, if I just need to give you special access to the keyboard, because there's like security risk because of various things you could do to my machine, so it doesn't by default give it to you. I'm happy to, but if you got a controller, that's a good option. So let's go ahead and start up the app. And yeah, the thing with Parsec is that it's helpful to have your controller already connected when I start it, because sometimes the games don't play friendly, because it's kind of like the game has no idea what's going on, so we just try to. All right. You should have control now.
Okay, yeah. Hmm.
No dice?
Maybe 1 sec.
So I'll move it. That must be you.
Yep, it's not me. All right.
There you go. Not me either. Awesome. Why don't you roll on home?
So you saw me play through these, but that's not really the test of the experience here. We're testing out like how it feels, and like I think as an early example, it's kind of like, okay, these puzzles are not super challenging. There's that one tough one and then that one impossible one. But especially as a game that Peter, you were saying is a result of a game jam.
No, it was done over the course of 48 hours, which is very game jam-ish. I don't know if it was exactly it. Like, I don't know if it was sent or submitted to a game jam.
Sure. Just prototype friendly, right?
Yep.
Prototype friendly conditions. But it has a lot of polish. And then there are some things you can see, like that motion where you're unable to roll that way. It actually feels a little bit weird because the center of your rotation is not exactly perfect. And so you can kind of tell a little bit of, rough edges or something, but like it's amazing how much is like really like looks highly polished, right? It's one of the things about prototypes is it's this mix of things that are like not quite there and things that are like really developed.
Mark, we need you to switch back to scenes and the all box.
Oh, okay, sure.
I didn't check on it, but yes, I was very distracted because of the game. But on stream, we're not showcasing it.
Okay.
We're back. There we go. Back on scene. Thank you, Lane. But yes.
I really like
Specs, tell us.
I really like the floppy of the little thingies.
Somebody had mentioned that in Twitch also, or on the chat, that the little things flopping around inside the cubes is adorable.
It is, and most certainly. Let's see. I like it.
And see, now we're gonna get onto puzzles, and we'll see how we figure these out. Because I actually would like to see someone beat that hard stage that both Mark and I cannot figure out, because I don't know. The game teaches you so well about how like to figure out these little initial puzzles that last one is such a like jump in logic that I can't make the connection.
I'm just desperate to know, is it the last one? Like,
oh, me too. Yeah,
are there 50 puzzles in this game, and it's just because we couldn't solve that one that we couldn't move forward?
Yeah, no, and that's what I wanted to find out. Like, in terms of like how much content, because like this is a high polished 48-hour project for what I've seen for a lot of game jams that come through. Like, there's some really cool stuff that comes out of game jams, but like for this something of this much like caliber for me, I'm like, oh man, like this would take. I feel like this would take a long time to get done, but I don't know. I game jam pretty frequently, but not like I don't seek them out every month kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just like this is what comes out. What happens when like a seasoned game jammer comes out, and they do one every month kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so now we're getting to some tricky logic puzzles here. So something that's really good about this game that I really enjoyed is like its feedback for movement. Like you can actually, the way you wobbled it back and forth, I really enjoy for this kind of game, because it doesn't like, make you like hard commit to a movement. You get like a little wobble.
Yeah, there is some, when you're playing with a controller, like when you're playing with a keyboard, you have your 4 direction keys, and you can kind of map those to this 45-degree, because it's not, it's not up, down, left, right? It's the, like an X pattern is the way you move. And you can map those in your head to buttons on your keyboard. When you're playing with a joystick, it actually is up, down, left, right. And so a couple of times you'll play and you'll be, why isn't it moving the way I want it to? It's because you're moving the way it looks visually on the screen. So that's one of those things where like that will definitely get fixed, right? Like that's a thing that it comes from like the simplest way to implement cardinal directions, right? So it's like it's one of when you evaluate prototypes or small games, you're like, is this a choice or is this just a case of like proof of concept? It doesn't need to be part of the consideration. And I think that's a challenge when you're doing playtest feedback, is to try to know the difference, right?
Yeah. I played it only on keyboard. I didn't know there was a controller difference when you're playing on controller.
Yeah, well, it's nice because when you it has analog sensitivity, so like as you can kind of like rock it back and forth without committing, which is kind of a nice little fun touch. But it does use like left, right, up, down, and so it can be a little confusing. But that's one of those things where it's it's just like that's not a ultimately that experience will be polished away, you know.
Oh, is the developer online? Can you tell me? Oh, no, the developer is not online. So this is the international episode where I pulled a bunch of games from developers from all over. This particular team is from Europe. So right now it's like I believe it's 12 p.m. It's like almost midnight for them in this time frame. So they're unfortunately not able.
All game developers go to bed by 9.
No,
we never stay up too late.
No. But no, like unfortunately, a lot of the developers I reached out to for this particular stream cannot make it because again, just different time zones. I think we actually have a team from Australia that said they might want to make it, but we'll see if they show up. If they do, hello. But if not, it's okay. I was very happy just to reach out to them, and they were all very excited to see this video and see the feedback we have for them. And because like for this game, like you said, the controllers might need to be an update for the feedback. I have you were so close.
I've realized I am like publicly embarrassing myself.
Oh no, that's not a bad thing at all. Like this is what playtesting is all about. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you know, Peter and I had the benefit. We both ran through this before the stream, so even when I was playing earlier, I was like kind of walking through, like, oh look. Do you have it? Hey, look at that!
There you go!
You have it!
Did a thing.
Someone should have been paying attention. Luckily, we're recording this. Oh, see, now you need to... Do you remember what you did? Because this is one of those puzzle games that would really benefit from an undo function, you know?
Oh, yes. Yes. This is a... Well, see, and that's good feedback, actually. An undo function would be very good for the game.
No, it's there's a puzzle game that was developed locally called Optica, done by some friends of ours at Gravik, and that game is like mind-bending puzzles, and so much fun to play. But if you kind of make a mistake, it can feel really, really punishing, and so the game just allows you to just undo anything at any time, because it's not like that's not part of the challenge, right? Is to get it right in one go. Although it does keep track if you do that, because you get achievements for not undoing.
No undos.
But it's up to you as the player to decide if you really care that much. So it's an interesting mechanic for a puzzle game, is to it's kind of the speed run version almost, right?
Right. And I'm actually a big fan of this because, like, no, that's a really good thing you brought up about like game feel, because undoing is something that like do you want there to be an execution aspect to the game, or is the game just to find the solution and then let the player move on? And I want to say this particular game does not want that execution element. It's just like oh no, like you figured it out, and like, oh no, you made a misclick, or you're this close, So an undo button would be fabulous for this kind of game.
Yeah, and it sort of sounds like I'm just thinking like how the UX would be like, because you commit to a move, but the way it works on screen is you sort of roll into place, and so you committed, and then it takes a quarter second or so for the results of your action to happen. So in terms of like how the game feels. So having an undo, like just mapped to Y or something, might feel kind of weird. And there'd be like there needs to be some sort of like roll back with the joystick or something. But that's, I mean, that would have to be something that had to be tested, different ways to do it, because it might just be simplest to just have a button for it. But I wonder if that would feel weird, you know?
I think just having a button for it would be better here.
Yeah.
Because like the movement already is, like you're saying, how the controller is a little wonky. I also, even playing just keyboard, had to like reconfigure my brain a little bit to get it just right. Because like the control is a little different. It's like not super complicated, but like it gets you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I really like the how you how you can like back and forth with the back and forth. Yeah, I like
That's
that.
just really fun. I think a little bit more feedback as to when you're past the point of falling over, because once that happens, you can't undo it. And that could be visual. It could be rumble. There's a lot of ways to do it. But there's a couple of times when I was sort of playing with that, and then I committed to a roll when I didn't mean to, just because there was no feedback as to when that was really going to happen. And the game itself doesn't need that wobble at all, but it really benefits from having it.
Yeah.
I think with this final one, I mean, who am I to talk? I couldn't get this far, but I feel like just like the other ones, you need to step right on it. So like you need to be like lengthwise here, so you could then move up and stand directly on top of that. But I'm trying to think, how did that work? You need to, once you make your way across here, then you need to
so like the final step that Vex needs to make is that they need to stand upright when they're long on that middle section. And I think that's the last step, but it's so hard to like get that lined up. And then I'm not sure how the controller will work out. Lane's like, I can't watch him make an L shape again. But it's L for Lane. See, Fax is only thinking about you.
I keep forgetting how to do the thing.
Yeah. That's a pretty common problem with puzzle games like this, where you make many actions repeatedly, and then you'll do it over and over and over again, and then you'll figure out something new, and then your short-term memory will like discard the cache of the thing you were doing for like over and over the past 2 minutes, and then you'll suddenly be further back than like you just had a eureka, but it actually set you back. That's happened to me a lot in puzzle games.
This is a puzzle game that does that for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, is there any kind of mitigation? Like, can you like see your path as you move without it being visually messy?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm ready to say it's impossible, but like I said that earlier and was wrong, so I don't know.
So I think you can almost stand up right here is the thing, but I don't think it's 100% like.
So the only way you can reach this island at all is the way that you just did, because if you do it from the other place, then you pick up the character. You know what it could be? Maybe if you lay across. Oh no, because if this were a box and you just laid across, then it would stitch to the end of it. But I don't think it works that way when there's no box there. I think you actually need to land on them.
Yeah, if you land like that, it would make an L. So that's not right.
Yeah, because this is 3 across.
See,
we're gonna solve this, fam. We're gonna do it.
And this is where I want the developer to be here. So be like, tell us the solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There
okay,
you go.
That's good. That's good. That's something.
Okay. All
right. So we still get an L going to the left. We can go to the right, but then that doesn't get us much. Oh, it's just the same thing, but.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
There you go. That's
now if I don't manage to like completely accidentally fall
now we need to get off here,
Yeah, now you have to roll. No, that's not. Okay. We're almost there. Okay, now you have to figure out how to do it I believe in you, Fox. Take your time.
I believe in me too. That was a lie.
Yep.
Oh wait. Oh no. Go back. Go back.
No,
yeah,
you're good. You're good. That's
once
good.
more.
I think.
To the right. To down. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Now go right. Oh, this game is so good.
I did it.
Look at that puzzle. Also, oh my god. No. Oh my god. So this is new territory for both Mark and I, because neither of us could figure out that one.
Yeah. So who knows how many levels are in this demo? I have no idea.
Oh, interesting.
But I can see you need to be across this way, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, look how smart that is. Oh, I think you might need to go one more farther.
Yeah, roll and then there you go. Oh, that's not. I think you need to be on this point, right? Like a soft grid on the ocean might be useful, like to sort of judge it. I mean, it's not that hard to know, but
if I
because like, oh yeah, no. If you make that last roll, it will not go. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's off.
There you go.
One.
Hey.
There you go. Connected.
All right, now you need to get over here.
Back.
Yeah.
Look how good this. Oh my god, this game.
Oh no, because you can't.
Oh no. See, this is tricky.
Yeah, you have to get all the way over here, I think, to lay all the way across.
Oh man.
So
maybe roll this way, and then stand
you say
up.
this way, so I can't see you.
No. Oh, you can't see the. Oh, it's on the stream, but not on your person.
Yeah.
No, my bad. Oh, that's not quite right. Huh? That's a toughie.
But like see how good that puzzle mechanic is. It taught you how to like, oh, you could roll on excess land space, and then now it's like immediately like, all right, well, we taught you a thing. Now you have to use it to its like. Yeah. Its learning curve is so steep, but it's still so effective.
You might have had to have gotten the middle one before the one on the left, so that when you became this long, you were picking up that one on that one with 3 squares.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So a grid would actually be a good thing for this game. True. Like across the ocean, tell you like, okay, well, I'm 5 tall, so now I can make this 4 leap, kind of thing.
So that one that you just grabbed, I think that's the one you grabbed last. Or not quite last. But that way, when you're at that full length, you've just landed on that one space. Although now that I'm imagining it, I'm not even sure that's gonna work. But
oops.
Well, give it a try. Just go for it. Let's see what happens. I'm so curious what will happen.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but if you connect at that angle, that actually might work. I think you have to make it a L.
Yeah, I think you need to make sort of L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it, but
I see where. Oh yeah, no. I think you're right. You have to make a double L because like it's perfectly. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, there's some logic that doesn't quite make intuitive sense, but is consistent.
Yeah.
So for other feedback for this game is that for demo wise, like this learning curve is a little too steep. Oh no, for this like for demo wise, this is great because it tells you like it shows you how much puzzle and potential the game can have. But actual like level design wise, I think this difficulty is too steep.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. I mean, for puzzle games especially, the playtesting really reveals that because when you're designing puzzles or challenges, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea how hard it's going to be for other people. And you think you do. You think you got it all figured out, and then you put it in front of 5 people, and then they tell you something that you should have known already, but it's like, duh. Like, it's as a game designer, you never stop learning that lesson.
Right.
Now I'm back here again.
Oh, I was going for the big L strategy, or the long block.
Yeah.
Complete the Tetris. No, it's okay.
You say strategy, even though don't think that's the word here. Like, pressing control without Y.
Oh, Jarky disagrees. Jarky says that depending on the market, that this game doesn't should be target. I don't think this game would be targeting a broad demographic. this learning curve is actually gentle compared to a bunch of successful puzzle games. Well, that's fair, and that's very fair. Like, I don't know what the game's target market is either. I don't know I don't know what the audience is. I would say
it's tricky. Like, puzzle games can get really hardcore, but I think generally, well, that's fun. Generally, I think it's what am I trying to say? Like, puzzle games, I don't think sell well if they're sold exclusively as like the hardest thing ever, right? Like, they tend to be in in terms of like market research terms, they tend to be. I think you might have it there. Yeah.
Hey.
Well done.
Oh yeah, it was the L. You were right. Oh my god.
Just to finish my thought, they tend to have like a sort of a chill vibe, and that you're getting that from here. Like, and theming is important to that, which isn't to say that games couldn't do something other than that. But I can't think of a ton of examples of puzzle games that announce that like the 5th level will be like a total struggle, unless what you're saying is that Peter and I are just garbage at this, which is, I could co-sign that argument.
Yeah, I immediately said this, like, before we began this game. I was like, I couldn't solve that puzzle. Am I just bad at games?
Yeah.
I'm getting a thing because the view, like, the view change.
I say a camera system, like just a right stick camera motion, would work fairly well, and ultimately future levels of this game would want to have like lots more spatial reasoning, right?
Oh yes.
The
and
camera.
Like a sorry, go ahead.
The camera whole remote thing with the camera change kind of threw me off a little bit, but I'm getting it.
Mm-hmm. I'm
also worried about that this game actually probably needs oh my word. Is this gonna work? Is that gonna roll? No, I don't think it's gonna let you. Okay.
Yeah, there are some rules as to what's like a valid turn, which I think takes a little while to understand. And I imagine in development the game would allow you to do more of those kinds of turns. It would just they would account for them in a way that the current version doesn't, because it would make things probably too complicated, or it would open up too many unplanned for solutions, perhaps. There's
a hard.
See, something tells me.
Man back here, which tells me that. Sorry.
No, I'm just thinking about, like, this stage makes you want to build a robot.
Yeah.
Like a walking robot. That's what I feel. In my heart of hearts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot you have to figure out. So you have to know, like, what the ultimate shape's going to be, which path you take along the land, what order to pick up characters, to pick up the ones that are already in boxes versus not, and out of that sequence, you could be especially a longer level like this one, you could be at like 75% of the way through it and not realize that you made a mistake, 30 rolls ago.
And then that's roll, 30 rolls. Oh wait, I made a mistake.
Yeah, also, yes, I also agree with Jarky on this, that the rules or when you sync are a little too hard to internalize.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's really hard to, like, depict on, like, what cube counts as your, like, base cube.
Yeah.
And what cube doesn't.
Like right here, it's a bit hard to tell where I will land, because I kind of just see a jumble of, yellow squares.
Yeah, that's a consequence of just the flat shading. I mean, that could be solved with a different art style, giving more depth. A shader that exaggerates the depth to provide also like a color shift to things that are a little further away, stuff like that to make it a little bit more obvious. I think a camera system is a good idea, but I could also see this to be like, this could be a good mobile game where you just have swipes instead of, you know what I mean? And you need a much simpler control scheme, and you probably wouldn't want a movable camera. But also, the more possibilities you give the player, the more rules you have to come up with, and more, you know what I mean? Like, I think if I'm the designer of this game, I'm wanting to limit the the amount of levers to pull, because you're already able to come up with nearly infinite puzzles using the simple systems that are already there. So like having a camera system would invite more complicated puzzles that might not be. I mean, unless it's the type of game that's really meant to be hard from jump, you know.
Oh, I'm okay with this camera, like with these lock camera angles, because like it's telling us basically like this game is spatial reasoning puzzles. But you guys are right in that like the mechanics of like what syncs, what doesn't sync is almost a little too much for this particular stage.
Yeah. And it just this level reveals some of the weaknesses. I think Lane even said that in the chat of like how the game works currently. But that's something that rather than fix it so that this level works better, the solution would be just to lean into what's already there, the choices that were already made. And that's something that only the designers can decide which direction to take, you know? Because either could produce a really solid game. Like there's no correct version of this, you know?
My general feel for like this level is like a bit confused. Again, a bit confused as to what shape I'm making, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
You don't know if you're on the right track.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's an argument for shorter puzzles, right? Or an argument for more signposting. Either mechanical signposting, let you know that this is a correct move, or this is the right order or something, or sort of like obvious visual cues in the environment to sort of imply, like hint to the player that this is the right way to go. You know, animations or a certain way, like if you had a more complicated like art style, like the way the grass is depressed on the thing to sort of imply a path, stuff like that. Again, more than one solution.
And I remember, I think there was a game I remember on the OS that was called like Bird or something. It was like a 2D block puzzle, like where you had to grab the strawberries. And I remember, one, that I wasn't good at that game either, but two, generally there was like you could kind of tell, like, for a lot of the levels, there was like, you knew you had to go up, so if you made more altitude, you knew getting somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it's like, it's the feedback of the game was telling you that you were doing the right thing, heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. No, see, that's good feedback too. I will also say, I believe it is time we swap over to another game.
All right, we're not going to crack this one all the way open tonight.
Oh, no. If you are interested, I will post the link in the chat again. But this is Roll Home.
Yeah, this is good. Well, thanks for playing. You certainly got us further than Peter and I could manage on our own with multiple attempts. So, kudos.
Yeah. Thank you.
And stick around, Flex, because we are going to play a multiplayer game in about another game or so here.
Ooh.
So, but
but
we're going to bring on someone new to the stage. We have Optio 1.
Yep.
Welcome, Optio. You're the next contestant on Twin Cities Playtest.
All right, sounds fun.
I think what we're going to give a try now is actually going to be Unpacking a Life, which was available on Steam. It was actually featured on, PAX Online, as like a up-and-coming Zen puzzle indie developer game. I very much like this game as well.
I think they produced a demo for PAX. I'm not sure that it's in one of the indie showcases or not. It might be. There's a lot of buzz about this game.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Well, if we can get our new player into Parsec, we can get going. But we can chat in the meantime.
Yeah, and actually, while you were setting that up, Optio, you want to friend IGDTC on Parsec, and then Mark will let you give the permission on the fly.
I will do that right now.
But yes, to read the store page of Unpacking. Unpacking is a Zen puzzle game about the familiar experience of pulling possessions out of boxes and fitting them into a new home. Part item Tetris, part home decoration, you're invited to create a satisfying living space while learning clues about the life you're unpacking.
All right.
All right, Mike, did you get that request?
I did just now, yeah.
Fabulous.
I'm also, viewers can see I'm fiddling with the overlay here for this game. It's snapping. I can't. You're just gonna have to watch me do this. I'm sorry.
No. This is a part of our charm, is that we are a live development stream. We do everything live. See, just like how we're giving feedback on games, we're also giving open to feedback on our stream. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, please let us know. Oh, I should probably post this link too for this one.
We're open to feedback now. That's new to me. I was hoping to just skate by without any.
My
god. Okay, so we got our player connected. We're gonna be playing Unpacked, or Unpacking a Life. That might be their Twitter handle. Another instance. Oh, I think I might have. This is a Steam demo.
Oh yeah, sorry. This one is a Steam game. Yes. Oh no. See, always some technical difficulties.
I'm just trying to get the volume down on here.
There we go. Which
it's going through so many things. Which one of these is it?
Happy unpacking.
Unfortunately, this list is too long. That's so annoying. All right, just give me a minute here.
See, this is the next level audio cue that audio levels or audio management that it takes to run a stream. Lane, I am super excited for Vengeance. I cannot wait.
There we go. This is the only game that gave me this trouble. I set volumes for all these games, and the system's supposed to remember, but it did not for this.
Oh, no.
So that's feedback 1. All right, we lost our player.
Oh, they have to reconnect.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I'm connected right now.
Yeah, you're both connected.
Optio. Try. This is a mouse. Just
Oh, is this mouse and keyboard?
Game.
All right, I'll need to.
Yeah.
Does keyboard require? Oh, I'll give you both. All right, you should have access to mouse and keyboard now. There you go.
I don't. Does this game have controller support? That's actually good feedback for this. I actually don't know. You'll want to do a new game. Yeah. Yes. Also, I hope you guys can catch the audio for this game because it's very soothing. I think that's actually one of my favorite things about this game is that they advertise themselves well, and their tagline of being a Zen puzzle game is very unique and niche, but describes it very well. Yes, the icon is also very good. I agree.
It's one of those cases where, when it does come to Switch, it'll be touchscreen, or it'll just be a case of like move the cursor with your joystick, which is like
Oh yeah.
Feels kind of like a giving up on like trying to make it work, but for some games that is just the best way to do it, you know?
Yes, also yes. Everything about this art is also very, very just like every item you pull out looks so alive.
Mm-hmm. I like how
even like a book.
There's these orientation indicators when you drag things to a place. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure I love that color. It just looks like dynamite. Like.
Oh yeah. And that's fair too. Like the red also throws off a little bit off for me too.
Yeah, like I think because it lets you know like how it's going to be placed, but I'm like, oh, that's the icon for deleting the thing in my hand or something is kind of what I'm.
Oh jeez.
My impression I'm getting. So I don't pay attention to it, but then I noticed it was moving, and I'm like, oh, what does that mean?
See, I also really enjoy this part of the game too, in which you can put the items anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like build your own story for this person.
Yeah.
And I was actually really excited to watch someone else play this game because I played this game. I played through it twice. One very like nonchalant, enjoyable, and the others played through. I basically try and tear up the rules. Like I put things in terrible places.
So my guess is this is where you just learn the, placing and putting mechanics. Is there ultimately any kind of scoring system or narrative drive that would motivate you to arrange things in a certain way and not in other ways?
That's something I put down for his feedback. I would honestly ask that because like there is ways you can tell a narrative and a story through this game.
Like is 100%. Your goal to align with
like,
the things you're learning so you can embody this character, or is it to guide this character through your choices, like to role play as the character?
Exactly.
Those are different ways to approach something like this. Or is it
I would
ultimately?
Love to see that.
That was a cool box disappearing animation.
Yeah, it's so good.
Got very video gamey for a second.
Oh, and that's like that little element. It just feels just right.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I like it. It zaps away like it's in some anime. Like that kind of takes me out of this sort of like realistic zen that the game provides. It's like if it folded up and slid off screen or something, that'd be one thing. But it kind of like zapped into the ether.
Oh, okay. And so it's taking away from the narrative for you.
Yeah, because I already don't understand what this world is. Like, and that's a strength, right? Is the game is slowly revealing what it is, who you are, what this place is, all that stuff, right? And that's great. And so to give me this little moment of like literal magic is like, okay, I get mechanically we don't want that box on screen anymore, but like, am I just supposed to ignore that happened, or like if I'm in the reality of this world? Although I said the animation is really cool, though.
Yep. See, I'm with Lane on this. In chat, they're like, "Books not organized by size by side is pretty cringe."
Yeah.
And like, this game builds up those kind of moments because when I was playing this, I was like, "Yeah, no." Like, at first it didn't bother me, but by the time I was like towards the end of this room, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, this has to be in the right order." Yeah.
Yeah. You're really starting to get, like, as the room fills up, you really start to get a sense of the personality of this person. And knowing that these things could be in completely different places gives you a lot of ownership, even if ultimately a lot of it is arbitrary. It's really, really effective.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, dang, a Tamagotchi.
Right?
I had one of those.
Oh, man, we all had Tamagotchis, man. They were great. And Mr. Cool McDuck. I'm enjoying. Are you enjoying yourself, Optio? Also, Optio, we cannot hear you if you are speaking.
Oh.
I just don't see them in the Discord. I don't see their microphone working in the Discord.
they are still connected to the machine. When you asked, they hit the Windows key. Oh, microphone issues.
Okay,
Are you still able to control the game?
Yeah. Oh no, they might have lost control of the mouse there. It's okay.
I'm saying yes. I don't know if that's to me asking if you can control the game or not, but there's nothing going on here. This is
All
me
right,
now.
can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All right. It's a really relaxing game, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like creating a little area for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm running out of places to put the books.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what you get for committing to that checkerboard taking up all that space, and those figurines, putting them on the shelves and not on the floor. Just, you know, if you planned ahead a little bit better, if you knew what was in all those boxes. That's a real world feeling too, right? Like,
It's when you don't have enough space.
So this is the part I was anxious for. Is like, maybe it's because I was watching and not playing, but I was like, let's get to it. Let's get to the review, the next part. It was, you know, but I think that might just be because I was watching. I think playing is probably a totally different experience. So now we have these outlines. What do these mean?
So these outlines mean that they're in an inappropriate place that the person does not want them to be. So now here's the puzzle aspect of it, of like finding where you need to put things so that they're appropriate, at least for the person.
So that's a journal you just pulled off the shelf. So that might better go in a drawer rather than on a shelf, if you can. Yeah.
Oh, you can open the drawer. So I was wondering if you could.
Yeah. So the
context clues. I love that. That's fantastic.
Another really good place for the diary that I found was the pillow. Yeah, like it's another acceptable place for the diary. Like there's multiple solutions for this.
Yeah, well, that's a copy of Peter Pan, so that's a thing you can keep by your bed as well if it doesn't go on the shelf.
That worked.
Procedure. That's a great
procedure.
I love that.
Oh yeah. Hilton Dadley's procedure.
Oh, I did not know that was a poster.
See, so like, there's so much that this game offers in terms of like letting the player express themselves. It's so well done.
Yeah. Can you put that board game on top of the other board game? That doesn't seem fair. Hey.
Oh, you can.
Like the P&D, I think it's like a Milton Bradley type logo. Those colors. Yep. It's just
that's why I call it Hilton Dadley.
Store brand enough, yeah. The ampersand throws you off a little bit.
Appropriate praise for the radio. Oh, you did it.
All right. At first, it seemed like a lot more than it was. I thought I was gonna have trouble fitting everything into the room, but it ended up working really well.
Yeah.
Okay, now here we're on to stage 2, which is 2004. 7 years. Was it 7 years later? I believe it's 7 years later.
Yep. Obvious place for the computer.
Oh, right? Zua is correct.
Okay, it doesn't seem like I can set anything in the windowsill.
Think about all this pixel art. Just each item has different positions, but also different states. It's just a ton of assets.
Oh yeah, like,
and then forget that like a third of them animate. You know.
I know exactly. And yes. So the lore of this game is that you are following the life of this person. Yep.
All right.
And I don't quite know what the direction of the game is going to be. Like, I'm super curious. There's so much content.
I hope it doesn't end really sad. Like, I think we've explored that genre pretty well. That's maybe a little bit mean, but like, I just hope it's not utterly morose, you know? Because this could go that way, but it could also move in a sort of a sweeter or more contemplative direction. And actually not knowing is really valuable, like having no idea, because then you're sort of invested in the outcome, which is, I mean, it's risky as a storyteller, right? Because if you know, if viewers have no expectation of a story, or players, they start creating expectations for themselves, which aren't necessarily based on story, and that's great, because then when you surprise, or when you fulfill those expectations, it's an incredible feeling as an audience member. But it's very risky, because if you thought it was going to go one way and then it doesn't, and you're not given enough clues that it's not going to go that way. So it's daring is what I'm saying. Like I'm giving it a lot of I'm praising it for that, because it can be a dangerous way to tell a story.
Oh no, I look very forward to what the full game is gonna be like, because right now it can go anywhere. Like, oh, see, okay, Lane's going off on the chat here, and I also enjoy this direction, because he's going like, why do people play sad songs when they're sad? And I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's true. Why do people play sad songs when they're sad?
So I cannot move items. I thought I could.
Oh, you can. But watching you pick up items though, in the playtest though has been really enlightening for me, because what I envisioned was being more intuitive is very different from what you are doing.
All right.
Yep. And that's okay, because like this is all really good feedback in terms of just like watching and recording, and like I'm sure the guys that are gonna play on, or hopefully watch this post recording, is that they're gonna be like, oh, like that the player is like looking for like how you were trying to what was it? You're trying to move the bra. And I was like, it's the view is the button to switch rooms is on the far end, and you were trying to click the door to leave. And I was like, oh yeah.
To those, they appeared almost like a pair of slippers to me.
Oh, okay, no, yeah.
Well, that's a good sign of, like, you know, you have empathy for this character, but you don't have the lived experience of this character, right? And that's
exactly.
That's like a cool thing to uncover in the story. Maybe I'm overinterpreting it, but like, it's kind of like there's a lot of video games where you kind of just get the gist and you understand a character even if they have nothing to do with you. But this a little bit more minute than that, and so like when you didn't know where to put the bra, it's like that's kind of, it can be kind of an embarrassing feeling, or like it's the private parts of this person's life who you don't really know.
Right. I'm also judging you for putting the toothbrush next to the soap, you monster! How dare you!
There's a little counter space. Where else am I supposed to put it?
Can you put it in that mug? Can items be combined? Oh, it's the total like. Oh man, this is like.
Yes.
It's like a full Day of the Tentacle style interaction system.
That is very interesting, actually. I didn't know you were able to do that.
Yeah, so like this is where like the game kind of like it loses, like, and this is where like the mechanics can build up on, because right now it's just a little demo, but the fact that they have this kind of like idea that you can combine items, and this is just unpacking.
As a player, are you meant to discover that at any point? Or does the designer want you to know that by a certain point so that you can solve puzzles or complete the game more efficiently? And if so, what does the game do to hint to you that items can interact with each other? If that's the case. And actually, the quick question, was that mug there the whole time, or was it actually something you placed?
It was something I placed.
Okay, so they do actually interact with items that came out of the box. Okay, so that's... it'd be interesting to see like a player go through the whole game not knowing that you can put things together, and would that disadvantage them in any way?
I think I would actually have needed to be able to fit it in the bathroom, because there's no other space for it.
Right. Right, depends. You don't get evaluated until everything's out of the box. Because maybe there is a way to do it. It's just messy, you know.
And honestly, like you can put that toothbrush next to the soap, and I'm sure it'd be just fine. But I think something that this game really like stands up on is that it lets the player, at least hopefully, it gives the player as much creativity as they want. Because like, if you go to like my bathroom is my toothbrush is in a cup kind of thing. Like that's where I would actually want to put my toothbrush, and so that would make sense for a player to like just like seek out. But like watching you play through the entire game, it just looks like you feel like everything has to go on a surface, and it didn't even occur to you that you could combine items.
Yeah, I feel like to make the game actually like where you place things, that they have to be on a surface. Because
and just like the go ahead.
Yeah, it was almost like all of the items that I put on the floor in the first one were the ones that the game did not like.
Of course, ultimately the boombox was okay on the floor, but that just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know where else you'd put that.
Yeah.
No, not exactly.
It's kind of fun. Like eventually, you do run out of places to put things, and then you face you face that experience that you face in real life, which is like, you know, I'm not getting rid of any of this stuff, so I'm gonna have to figure it out.
I was not expecting to move that hanger either.
See, this game gives you those kind of elements, and I'm really excited to see them expand on that.
A little shelf, that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
In chat, we have two types of people: PC on desk or PC under desk people. And I was like, my first reaction to that is, who's a PC on desk person? Unless you have a lot of like, unless you have one of those glass cases with a bunch of LED lights, or you have a Intel 386 from 1991, like I did, and then it was like, it went under your monitor, you know, one of those old style ones.
Yeah.
But I imagine in this game you can put that Gateway 2000 or whatever it is on the if there's room for it.
Oh man, is that actually like a Gateway 2000? Because this is like 2004, so
it just looks like it. Yeah, I think for 2004, this is the tail end of that kind of computer. CRTs were still pretty common, but a lot of people had flat screens by then. They weren't like overly expensive, I don't think, at that point. But not everyone had replaced theirs yet either.
Now that
I
know
does feel pretty true to era.
Now that I know those are posters and not like wrapping paper, it's much easier to place them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't leave room for the mouse.
You monster.
Yeah. What is that?
I have no idea. I think it might be a laptop.
Huh. Are those Atari 2600 cartridges?
That was
I think they're cassettes.
Yeah, probably.
But
they look a little big for cassettes.
Yeah, but Atari 2600 cartridges is my new favorite answer for what those are right now.
Yeah. I don't know why that was my go-to. I actually had a little plastic shell like that for NES games when I was a kid.
It really does make you think on where to put things when you don't have enough space. I think that's one of the most entertaining aspects of the game, is that it's not just mindlessly placing items, but like they actually have a place where they go.
Yeah. And that experience of like putting it's like, oh, this is where it goes, and then like half an hour later being like, oh, I made a mistake back then, because of all the new context you get, right? And the game does it by introducing you to these items you've never seen before. But in real life, it happens too, right? Where you sort of arrange things just right on the bookshelf, and then you realize that you have 3 more books than you thought you did, or you thought you'd put the largest one in the right space, but then suddenly you realize you didn't, and then now you need to change where the shelf is in the frame for it all to fit, and then you just you have to undo a lot, and it's a real natural feeling like that seems to be replicated pretty well here in miniature anyway.
Yep, and I actually am enjoying this a lot too because like Optio is opening the boxes in a completely different order than I did.
Oh yeah.
And so like them placing things is going in a quite different expression versus the way I open the box and the way it's basically it's very enjoyable watching someone else just play this game.
I feel like this would be a really decent game for like to almost like stream because it would be so interesting to see how people place things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also keeping an eye out for books that were in the previous scene.
Oh yeah, me too.
I haven't noticed any yet. Like I don't see the diary. I don't see that copy of what looked like Peter Pan.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't see any of those either.
I mean, I don't know how close attention I was paying, but
I enjoyed the placement of the planner because as opposed to you just put the planner right on the pillow, like it's like your go-to, and that tells us something about who you are, not just who the person is in the game.
Yeah.
See?
Are there any other? Is there a box? Oh yeah. Oh, there's plenty more.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised how much there was in here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this person has a lot. Like, yeah. That what is it? The first stage has like 3 or 4 boxes, something like that.
I think it had 4, yeah.
That teacup is never going to get used. It's all the way back in there.
That tells us something about Optio.
Yeah. You ever find a mug in your cupboard that you're like, whatever happened to this? It was just way back there.
Actually, I have. One thing that's kind of curious is I can put something flammable on the burners, but I can't put the pan on the burners.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure they've like solved as much as they could, but they can't have solved everything.
No, yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of rules, right, and that are all unseen as to how this works, and that's an unusual one because it's not like the handle was in the way or anything like that. It wouldn't let you put it on that surface.
I do want to highlight sound effects for this game briefly because I very much love the attention to detail for just like simple sounds. It's like when you stack plates on each other. Like if you stack them multiple times, you notice that there's different sounds. There's also the same for like the cups and the bowls and like all the little items you got.
Yeah, the sound effects also give you, the pixel art is for the most part very clear, but occasionally there's items where you're like, what is this? And the sound effect actually helps you a little bit. So like those scrubber sponges are not immediately obvious, but then when you put them down, it's like, oh, this is a soft item, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I know what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fex. We were thinking the same thing. Oh, you found your keyboard.
Yes, I did. I was actually not thinking about placing a keyboard.
That's so funny. Like, I have totally put a monitor or something on a table and then moved it further back, like moved it to its final position later. Like it goes here. I'll know it. I'll be precise once I find the other stuff. I was very kind of them not to make you handle every utensil one by one.
Oh God, yes. Oh man, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be enjoyable. Like, to have to place, like, I don't know how many there are there.
Yeah.
Like, just
this brings up one of my challenging questions for this game. Actually, is that what is repetitive and what is enjoyable about this game is honestly a little bit challenge for the player because a lot of us have moved in our lifetime. And the activity of moving is often considered very tedious for a lot of people. And yet this game just brings out this, like, we've all sung the praises of this game and how good it is and how fun it is, but like some people just hate moving. It's just not something that's super fun intuitively. So it turns that activity, like, gosh, like unpacking a thing sounds like a lot of work, but this game turns it into a fun activity.
Oh, I cannot put other utensils in the cup.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Got any cans to open?
It does not appear like it.
I mean, that would not help you, but...
Well, there's a one logical thing. I can put the teapot on the stove.
Well, is it an electric tea kettle, or...
It does look electric, but I'm just putting it on the stove.
I mean, spoilers, that, that's happened in my kitchen before, where somebody mistook it for a different kind of tea kettle, and it was a smoky evening.
That doesn't sound very good.
Oh, you got one of them grilling deals.
Yeah.
George Foreman.
You ever walk around your apartment with one little thing in your hand from room to room?
And you're like,
where should this go?
Can I hang the handle off of the surface? No.
Oh, that's a good idea.
ooh. Well, that's not a bad idea.
Taking a peek at I mean, time flies with this game. How we doing on time, Peter?
It's almost already it's 7:17, and they're very close to finishing this.
Okay.
But I also like in this final.
Is this the end of the demo?
Moment,
This sequence?
yes, a spoiler. This is the end of the demo.
Okay, well it's a good stopping point then.
Yeah. Like, let us know. Optio, why don't you give us some feedback for this game while we were finishing up here.
So, one thing I was having trouble with is finding that drawer is open.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no tutorial or anything, I just didn't know drawers would open, so I would have, like, items that I was like, where would a drawer be for this? And until you guys pointed that out, I'm not sure if I would have figured that one out.
Yeah. A context-sensitive mouse cursor might be not wanting to overcomplicate the interactions, but that might be useful.
Yeah, that does sound like it would help. Would just be
Although, actually, does that happen? Does your mouse cursor kind of light up when you...
It does.
It does.
Yeah, okay. It's just not something we glommed onto so quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't explicitly teach you that this is a thing that you can do.
Oh,
which is very
you got it on there finally.
Oh yeah. Oh,
it's
it's
just
positional.
oriented in a certain way.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wonder if it wants me to put the pots down here or something.
Next to the bug spray.
Yeah.
Bug spray.
You know, this is really like it's like an existential question. Is like, where do you put your things in the kitchen? Because there isn't a universal standard, right?
No.
Like generally, people put forks and knives in a drawer, and that's pretty much the only hard and fast rule, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Ooh. Sorry, I'm enjoying where you find a place for the shoes, because that's not a place where I would put my shoes.
Well, they're sort of under the shelf, so it wouldn't be knocked in.
It works out, though.
Yeah.
Do not understand where it wants this, though.
I mean, it's a satchel, so it probably moves in and out. So, honestly, I'd put it anywhere, but the game seems to have an opinion.
Yep.
Mouse pad.
Right.
That's what it is. 2004. It's a mouse pad.
Yep, exactly.
It is.
Oh, you think oh, so like this tells me you're right-handed also, because there's absolutely room to place it left-handed.
I like how the game is like, you did it, it's fine, it's good enough, and you're like, nope, I gotta get it just right.
I'm not gonna reach to the left for my mouse. This looks like it would be a very promising game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that I'm really concerned about would be the repetition of things.
Yeah.
Mm.
How much of your experience do you think is governed by the fact that Peter and I were here peanut gallerying you the whole time?
I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'm not sure some of the things I would not have figured out without you guys there.
Mm-hmm.
like the drawer thing, even though my mouse cursor did light up, I thought that was because I had an item in my hand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. It would be a fun game to play, but I'm not sure how long I would play it.
Sure, sure. Yeah, there seems to be, like, that first scene when you was like, oh, there's a dreidel. Okay, so we know a little bit about this person. And, like, you learn a little bit, but in that, when you're just putting stuff in the kitchen, that wasn't a ton of... it seems that the revelations have sort of slowed down a little bit. And so maybe I think this is a game that probably is very difficult to pace as a developer, because some players will be like, I'm going to totally arrange the toothbrush, and I'm going to spend a lot of time getting that all, or like, oh, should I put the extra toilet paper roll on the floor or on top of the tank? That's a struggle I have in my real life, so you know what I mean? And whereas the game, the developer doesn't know what everyone's approach to certain items are. And so it's hard to, I imagine it was very, very difficult for them to know when players will reach certain points, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed that game though. Like if it was like levels like that, I think I would definitely play it for quite a while without getting bored of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm curious to see what happens next, what more there is to it. But I could, as just a toy you play with, I mean, if it was just 100 rooms where all you did was sort someone's things, I mean, that could be a success. Like, I mean, I don't know about commercially, but it could be a design success. But I think there's more going on in the game ultimately. But I'm very curious to know what that is.
Yeah. I generally liked the pixel art too, and that wasn't like hyper realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if it would be as enjoyable if it was like a VR experience.
Right, right. Where you like where things clipped a little bit, or things. Everything in this game is on a grid, right? So it's all abstract. So the pixel art really works with the mechanics and the user interaction system. It all ties together really well, and like there are a lot of pixel art games that like don't need to be pixel art, but this one I think really benefits from it, not just aesthetically, but like mechanically.
I would definitely agree with that too.
And like the diorama structure of each room, and then it gives you some expectation of like immediately you're like, oh, I'm not going to put anything against the two opposing walls because they don't exist, and you just let that reality wash over you without feeling like it's a continuity error, you know, even as you're trying to desperately find places for everything.
I didn't even realize the two walls weren't there, actually. Like, that never crossed my mind. Like, I should have two more walls I should be able to place things along.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could maybe put a poster on one of them. I don't know where the hover target is, but maybe, and then it's like transparent or something. I'm guessing no, but it's a thing that, yeah, it's like all good, continuity errors that are like, explained away or carefully hidden. This game has them too, and it's pretty neat to see it in action.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call it for unpacking here because we're gonna jump into something multiplayer. It looks Lane. It looks like Lane already wants some action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In fact, if you want to hop back on, you're welcome to as well, because we're gonna be playing some Juicebox. Is the name of our multiplayer game tonight.
Oh yeah. I was playing this one before. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Right. Like.
It's very simple, but it has a really solid core. You'll see it when we pull it up.
Oh, I'm so excited to play this multiplayer. I'm not gonna lie. There was this game and another game that was contending for a multiplayer segment, which I think is like a good goal for every game. Like every playtest session is like we have something multiplayer. Yeah, yeah. Just so we can complain about Parsec for a good portion of our runtime. It's a really important part of our brand. Yep, is that we help Parsec, but we also make fun of them the entire time. Oh yes. Oh gosh, does Lane not have permission? I just put Lane. I just gave Lane permission to join the event stage. There we go. And Lane, I believe Lane, you should already be friends on Parsec, so go ahead and send that request when you're ready. Same goes for Fex, who is back in the chat room with us, but not yet connected on Parsec. And there you are. I'll accept your request. And I will go ahead and load up the game so we can look at that fun title screen. A game about
Oh.
a small game about juice and boxes. Or what? Yeah, something. Yeah, that's it. It is a small game about juice boxes.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Is Lane joining us?
I think so. He looks like he disappeared for a sec, but
Grumble parsec issues 1 sec. Lane says. Well, it makes the night complete.
okay.
We've checked that box. No more complaining and also no more problems. That's just if you were thinking about having problems, we did that already. We're done with that for tonight. So, Lane
okay, yes.
Lane claimed that slot in tonight's program. So
It looks like Fax also needs help there because it looks like they made a mistake. If you could disconnect them from Parsec real quick.
yeah. All right. In the meanwhile, Peter, you can go ahead and play a single player for a moment if we wanted to get everyone a minute rather than have them scramble while we wait silently. The app's in focus. Let me know if you can or cannot control it.
Controller button, push start. Oh,
there you go.
No, I got it. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Solo mode. Wait. Start. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Solo mode. Marathon. I want dish, and I love. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Yes. I like apple. Ready? Dodge.
So this is interesting. It's laid out like a Smash Brothers, but at least in the single player mode, it is essentially like a shoot 'em up. Although really all you're doing is dodging things.
I just have to live for 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. And then those little power-ups come by, and as far as I know, they don't have a ton of effect other than giving you points, but you really want them.
You do. You want them all the time.
So if you hit the right trigger, you activate. I think it's the right bumper. You activate your ability, which I don't remember which one it is for this. Dodge, I think.
I'm gonna take off dodge. I really don't like it.
Yeah, I played. I don't know which character it was, but their ability was platform, which just lets them it's sort of a sneaky double jump. It just generates a platform under your feet, so you can jump off of it.
What? Oh my god, that's amazing, actually. Oh, it's also a physical platform.
Yeah.
Okay then. I just immediately killed myself.
Although I did something in this game that I do in a lot of games that have like intuitive controls. Is I like how it feels. I'm into it, and then I never engage with its deeper mechanics because the game doesn't ever really ask me to. And that's what I had playing this, where each character's special ability gives them some kind of advantage, but I felt that I was just better off just running and jumping. At least in this survival mode. I think when there's multiple players, I imagine things are quite a bit different.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to play this, because like playing the single player, I did the marathon for a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, this is really fun puzzle. Really fun like a puzzle action platformer kind of thing. Great music, fun soundtrack, great aesthetics, all that stuff. But I was like, how's the multiplayer like? Oh my god.
Well, we still have Optio connected, so I can also join in as a third player.
Oh yes, jump in.
Lane was saying he may have changed his tune since then, but he's saying he's gonna give up on the troubles he was having. So we can maybe get him back in a little bit later.
Okay, yeah, no, let's hop in. Let's get the other people in.
All right. Oh, and we just had Fex connected back again, so there's the should have 4 players now. I don't know if this game will. If everyone's connected, or we have to restart it, but everyone should be connected. So go ahead and hit the A button to see if you can start your player.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
3 out of 4. Who amongst us is not able to join just yet?
Oh, it was
Nobody.
me. I'm gonna go shield. I'm gonna try shield. Oh, we have all flavors present.
First to 10 points wins. Player 2 needs to hit ready. That's a UX thing. It doesn't. It's not totally obvious which is the selected button and which isn't.
Yep.
What? Game just crashed.
Oh, what? Aww.
I've heard that happens to games sometimes. I mean, I've never seen it, but I've heard.
We're getting so hyped for this.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone get in. I want you. I want you to. 2, 1.
Nope.
Nope.
As if
that's
you. Let's try it one more time. Let's just have fewer players. I don't know if that makes any difference at all. Was anybody playing as the same character? Because that might be an uncaught issue.
I was playing some characters, so I'll try it without him.
Yeah, no, we were all playing different characters.
Oh, were we? Okay.
Yep.
I'll sit this out and see if it works with 3.
Okay.
I don't know why it would, but it's worth a shot.
Oh, it does. Is it just 4 players? Is that the issue?
It might be. Sometimes that happens, you know. It could also, I mean, there's a chance that it's my particular controller connection, even though I'm the one playing locally. The game has no idea of that. It might just be some other thing. Not our problem to solve. Like, playtesting it's good to find bugs, but that's the job for QA. Playtesting is about design.
Oh my god, we actually are. Oh gosh, we are physically blocking each other. Ah, lasers! Okay, I just fell off, but yes. See, okay, this is as enjoyable as I thought it would be. Oh god, this from the sky. It's coming from the sky. I just fell. That's not a platform. You lied to me, game. You lied to me.
I don't know how unique this is for a party, like a single screen battle game like this, but there's just an excess of hazards, and that's very much the that's like this game's thing. But I don't know, is that unusual for a game like this to have like this subgenre, or am I just not familiar with it?
I would say this one because its mechanic is all dodging. Oh gosh, and there's no like aggression. Then this game does have to have just hazards.
Yeah.
Because like in like Duck Game or like Stick Fighter, like they have weapons and stuff. Oh, those go through walls. Okay.
And that shield looks like a pretty good ability.
Yep.
I imagine it has a cooldown of some kind.
No, it just all your abilities take juice.
Oh, and the things you pick up provide juice.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. I just got lucky in that one because you guys took the bullet from me. Oh my. Oh my. Oh, okay. Oh, I do have a question for the players. How is your lag going for you?
It's a bit difficult, seeing as it's kind of like a zippy game, but that might just be due to the fact that I am on, Parsec. Really, not like the most ideal, shall we say? But
yeah, everybody's sitting at just north of 100 millisecond lag, which is, I think, when it starts to be irritating. Is that right?
Yeah, especially because of this
game is being all action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I'm experiencing lag, but the shield is definitely making up for it. Because I can just block things.
Yeah. So who was player 2?
That was me. But again, shields. And I asked the lag thing because I was experiencing it, but I was like, I just have a shield and I can just hold it up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I found it difficult to move around with the lag, where I would like fall off a ledge because I was stopping too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, it might be due to the like lag, but I kind of was like noticing a lot of the rounds I just kind of like stayed still, and only a couple of the rounds I stayed still and like, moved thing came my way. Which seemed to work out decently well. I just thought there was something to be aware of.
Okay.
So for folks at home wondering why I'm not, for people wondering why I'm not maximizing this window, is that it actually doesn't expand the play area, or it doesn't zoom. It's just you can start seeing out of bounds, which is kind of fun, but we don't need to bother with that.
Oh, really? Well, like, will the things that get generate farther out, or will it stay safe?
No, game stays the same. It's just the window gets larger, but the game itself doesn't. It just hasn't been programmed yet. That's all.
Okay.
This is a game made in Game Maker. We have a couple of those tonight in our listing, and I know that in our Twin Cities community, we don't have a ton of Game Maker devs. So it's actually really interesting to see a couple of these in progress games, because you can kind of see like, oh, a save system is easy to do in Game Maker, but camera systems are not, right? Because you can always tell like a Unity game, like, because all Unity prototypes have this and this and this because of how easy Unity makes it for you, and likewise with other engines that have that do things really well, make things easier for developers, then you see prototypes and early demos tend to have those things just figured out right away. I always find that fascinating to see.
I'm gonna say, why don't I disconnect, and maybe hopefully that gets helps with the lag a little bit, and then we'll see how it's like for the other two players. Just have them try it. Have them try the solo mode.
So we're kicking you off then?
Yes, I can put myself out here.
Okay, cool. All right, we've got our two remaining players. So you can go ahead and start a party match if you like. You need to use the D-pad to select the menu. I don't think the joystick works.
Yeah. And let us know, Mike. Mark, how it goes.
Sorry?
Because you said like Parsec tells you what the connection speed is like.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's down to between 30 and 60 now between both these players. Okay. So one a little higher than the other, and I'll keep their identity secret. But should be 100, should be a fair bit better.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done 4 players pretty successfully, but like I think only once or twice. Generally, that's when it starts to get pretty bad, because it's limited by my upload speed, because I need to send a separate stream to each individual player. There's not a centralized system, so more players, slower for everybody. 3 players we can do sometimes. 2, almost every game works pretty good with 2, at least in my experience. You guys can tell me if that's not the case now.
Yeah, there's like two players might be where it's at. Oh, ouch.
I'm not doing well, aren't I?
It's okay. That's what this game is about. But I'm also just like looking at the aesthetics and the. Oh gosh. Oh.
Those like full screen laser beams, like there's 2 of those little tells on screen, and it's very easy to forget which one is going to go first.
Oh yeah, it's all very panic inducing.
Yeah, if you're gonna threaten the player with that much peril in a row, I think those tells need to be more animated so you can see which one appeared on screen first. I mean, the game is pretty visually busy, but I don't think that would be too much trouble.
Oh man, see, like, oh gosh. So the reason I wanted to bring this one up was that it is very, very hyper-dot-ish, in which you have to dodge everything. But this is taking on a different genre, that it is hyper-dot but platformer.
Yeah. Well, there's also I think there's a fundamental design difference. So, like, Hyperdot is almost obsessed with fair play. And I don't mean that this is unfair. I mean that Hyperdot will always, even though things can be very panicky very quickly,
Yeah.
you always know what's coming next. You know, with enough time, you know, it's not a lot of time, but you always know. And I think here, even though it's not that things are moving faster, it's more, or even that it's more difficult, it's that the different things that come at you feel a little bit more random. If you jump through a certain way because you know that's safe, it might not always be the case. Like, there's not a lot of, like, I guess I'd call it object permanence, you know? Like, you don't, strategies you employ now won't necessarily serve you well 10 seconds from now. And that's a design choice, right? I don't think that's not a criticism in any way. But I think that's what sets it apart from a game like Hyperdot, I think.
Yeah, but like it's just fun to see like the base mechanic of like, oh, dodge, or like, so would you consider dodge a base mechanic, or is it like the sub mechanic for this game?
I mean, yeah, I guess my only point is that how games that are mechanically similar aren't necessarily similar when you really drill down. Is kind of all my point. I think that the principal like feeling of this game is chaos, and that's its strength. And it uses those mechanics to deliver that. Whereas you could use the same mechanics to deliver a totally different feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, look at them protecting each other. Oh my. Yeah, I will say something, like even playing this game at home, the controller, I don't like the controller feel. I like the keyboard feel a lot better.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's a keyboard. Yeah. I did not know that.
Huh.
Yeah, like I don't think you have. It's much harder to map out because like each player needs their own like 6 button setup.
Yeah.
Oh, on one keyboard.
Yeah. So it doesn't. It does not pan out this way. Like this works better for controller, but like for its actual like your movement speed and stuff like that, using a keyboard is much more precise. It's for what I had played.
Yeah, I think you're kind of slippery.
Oh yeah,
so
yes.
It might be that a key movement might give you just. I mean, even compared to a D-pad, right? Just the way you interact with that device is different, even though they're both buttons, you know. And presumably under the hood they do the same thing, but you physically interact with them differently. That's I assuming that's what you're feeling. Sort of making a guess.
Yeah, it just, for whatever reason, I guess I get much. I feel like I have more control when playing with the keyboard. But no, that was a close game.
Yeah.
The D-pad actually.
Also, there's a graphical glitch right there. Oh really? Okay. Yeah, there's a weird graphical glitch there where like the player 1 monitor does not have a color or does not have their flavor present.
Oh sure. That's actually fairly common for games like this. It's not. I think every game goes through a period of
like
months where they just leave that bug in. It's like, what? Well, we know we can fix it. It's a solved problem, but we're not going to solve it right now. You know.
Like it's content to create.
Yeah. That's one thing that's been fun about some of these demos that I'm not as familiar with, right? Like games we playtest in our community, we sort of see over and over again. They come back time and time again, and we all as a community get really familiar with them. And then it's just cool to see things from outside. You know, we lack some context because we don't have the developers here with us, and that's a bummer. But just the refreshing seeing other people sort of deal with the same issues, like oh, I've seen that bug before. Like I know that bug well. You know?
Yep. Everyone's got bugs, man. It happens.
Yeah. Are we looking to move on from this point now? We still have
I am.
It is
7:44, but I was hoping to try and. You said you want to get a little test of your own game, Mark. So I'm happy to go give that a try.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Peter,
there's also the Clans drop too. So go ahead.
Sorry, what was the next one you were saying?
There's also Decline's Drop, which is the other one I was really excited to showcase for people.
Yeah, let's do that one first, and then we'll load up Metro Nexus. It's an unusual type of playtest. I can get into that when we get there. So we still have our two guests connected. I am gonna have to do volume again on this thing.
Which one of you would like to play this little gem?
I could, I guess.
Excellent. Go right ahead. Whatever it looks like, we're gonna give control over to Vex here. I'm gonna try to pull up this itch page. I'm gonna post it into the chat, which I forgot to do for the other games, but we'll get them to you eventually. But this game is Decline's Drop. It's about a wooden puppet who just didn't want her garden to be destroyed.
Nice.
And it has so much aesthetic. It's got that Kirby, what is it, like Super Nintendo Kirby?
Yeah,
not like a.
That, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's like Kirby's Adventure or something like that, but not Superstar Kirby.
Yeah, one of the early Kirby's. Are we unable to control the game?
Well, just checking to make sure I'm not missing obvious. Does not look like.
Okay, so I'm doing keyboard control here, but it does have mouse control. Let's I'll restart it. You are connected. You got your controller connected. So
Yeah.
one of the things we normally do in this case is we just turn it off and on again.
Exact. Foolproof. Foolproof.
So I'm gonna press enter here on the title screen because I don't know if the controller will let you do that, and then you just let me know if you can control the character.
Sure.
No dice, it looks like.
No, I don't think so. Fortunately.
Oh no.
Let me try something else here, which is I'm going to. You are now the only person connected on Parsec. One of the things that happens a lot is that you might be the game might consider you player 2, so the player 1 controller port might have been consumed. So we're gonna give this one more try.
Right.
Any luck?
Doesn't look like it.
All right. Well, it looks like I am gonna have to take this one.
Oh no, Mark! You have to play a game.
I have other things to do, but yes,
That's fair.
I will play video games if I must.
Oh, actually, 1 second. I can try if you are so opposed.
Well, there shouldn't be any difference between Parsec users, so.
Okay, fair. Oh man, looks so good. So this is a game I haven't played yet, but I haven't downloaded and I'm waiting to play it.
So I'm not able to control either. I tested this game an hour before we started and it seemed to work. So wherever the problem is, it's on my end. So it's actually it's not on our player's side. Okay, so I just unplugged and plugged my controller and it's working now. All right, well, potentially we could get our remote players, but I think I'll just go ahead on it. So
yeah, just go for it.
It's fun to see these in-context controller hints, which is kind of fun.
Yep.
Okay, so hold down run. So jump. So when I played earlier, this one kind of stumped me. I was like, oh, I just learned to run, and then I'm going to learn to jump. So it must be that I need to run and jump, right? But it's actually not the case. I need to double jump. And it says right on there, ×2. But I missed that at first. And the clues, the sort of context clues tells me that you just learned to run, now you're learning to jump, and here's a thing that on your first jump you can't reach. So that is that's giving me a message. That's saying, okay, then you need to do something different. You're solving a puzzle. But that's actually not what's happening. I think a way to solve that would be to have like a step, and then another step, and then followed by teaching you to double jump. Do you know what I mean? Treating jump and double jump
some classic
separate.
This is some classic Cuphead tutorial shenanigans I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, and this it has pass through also. Okay. Also, I'm not watching through Parsec, so I'm actually watching through the stream.
Sure.
So I do have a delay on my commentary. Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad. So one of the weird things on here, and ultimately games can have remappable controls or whatever, but by default, jump is on Y, or the top most face button.
Yep.
Which is, and then attack is on B, and nothing.
Yeah, I know.
A doesn't do anything, which is a little bit. It does take some getting used to, and ultimately all of this is arbitrary, right? But when I was playing earlier, I kept mixing it up. And I think it's kind of a debate as to like doing what you as the designer feels right for your game, or what you want to express, like this is the controls I want, versus like what a player expects, and when do you just do what everyone else does, because it's like as a designer, as an artist, you don't want to just default to something that works because other people did it. But I definitely had that feeling here where you have to hold down the bumper, L1 or R1 to run, and then jump is on Y, which is actually very close to the bumper, so you're kind of pinching the controller at the top. It actually feels a little strange to run and jump.
So this is this is a part of their game. Part of their game model is actually that this game is more. It's very cutesy, but it has that Smash Brothers level of like execution, combos, and mastery. Is what they want. Yeah. So these complicated movements. Yeah, the claw grip, exactly. The claw grip you have to perform is very similar to like people who play like Smash or like all those like competitive fighting games.
Yeah. So there's a README included in the build. This might be what you're referring to, Peter, where there's just a bunch of different types of moves. You can run, and then you build up a speed, and then you get it is very Smash Bros. Like, but it's only a platformer. And I don't play Smash Brothers, but the one Smash Brothers I liked was the one on Wii that had that side-scrolling single-player campaign. So ideally, I should be the perfect audience for this. I think the thing that's missing so far is the levels are kind of sparse, so there's not really a lot of opportunities to use the diverse moveset. But that's not what the point of this demo is. I feel this is more mechanical proof of concept. I think it does a pretty good job.
But no, I 100% agree. Like, being able to remap your buttons is very important for this kind of game.
Yeah, but and again, that's one of those things where you just have to assume that will come. That's not. It's something to note, and I think that in order to do really good playtesting, you probably want to take care of that as soon as possible. But it's not like, it's not a criticism of the game. Like it's very difficult when you're doing early playtesting to like try to separate out the things that you haven't worked on yet versus the things that you need feedback on.
Right. Oh my god, I miss Lane. Don't you do this to me. I miss emissary mode. That was one of my favorite modes to play that game. Was Smash Bros. Was playing at Shadow Emissary.
Animations are fun.
Yeah, no, everything felt so alive when watching like the trailer. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah. I will say, I think the walk animation is a little strange. I feel a little bit like it's disconnected from what's actually happening, which is weird because the rest of the animation all feels very, very like it feels in the world in a way that is actually uncommon for platformers particularly. So I'm really, really impressed by that. But just the normal walk cycle, it's sort of a skipping animation, but it doesn't read. Yeah. It doesn't quite read to me.
It's that of a boxer's, so that's like a boxer's pose. But you are right that like Lane said it earlier that this character has such a wonderful mix of has powerful punches, but also occasionally will like grab their hat and hold their hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love this character. I love that. I mean, it's just simple choices are so. Like I love that her gloves are this like royal blue, like they're just veering on purple. Like it's a accent to her sort of yellow sundress, and in a way that like there's no other purple or blue in her outfit. It's just the gloves, and like this is little creative choices that I'm really responding to. Like You know, not as a like this is done right. It's just that I really like it. You know.
No, oh gosh.
Yeah, this very Smash Bros.
Mm-hmm. But like, I'm such a big fan of like I want to see like how if you can string the combats together, which I will have to try on my own.
Yeah, I'm sure there is more depth here than I'm able to demonstrate because I keep forgetting what the jump button is. Just you know, 35 years of playing Mario, you know.
Has made a
yeah. So that's not again, it's a thing. It's hard to provide to put that into feedback because you know that's going to be an option, or you know, or you can assume anyway. So it's hard to it's hard to criticize it for that.
Yep.
But it is sort of making it a little bit harder for me to play. This is fun.
Yeah, one of the things I'm hoping this game goes through, because they mentioned Smash Bros. That you have 2 sets of moves. So like you have like your base like but like your base attack combo. Oh my gosh, you just bouncing on the enemy until he died.
Yeah.
Is that how he's supposed to die?
I don't know. It was fun.
Oh god. But yeah, so back to their comment of Smash Bros. I'm wondering if they have these complex inputs, but one of the biggest charms about Smash Bros is that their inputs are incredibly easy. Like it's a direction plus a button.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as opposed to like having to run be its own button, it might need to map it to be like double tap or like a hard press, like those kind of sensitivity type of inputs, and then have like your base punch button, and then like a special a button that is your special ability button.
I was like, all right, it's Smash Brothers. Every platform is a one-way platform.
Yeah.
I can just uppercut. That's my favorite move. Peter, you're watching on the stream. You'll see it soon enough.
Oh.
It's that uppercut with the spinning boxing glove. I'm.
Oh no, it's great.
That animation is brilliant.
Yeah. Like it's also such a good effective attack ability. Yeah, this is 100% Kirby meets Smash Bros. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, that's so cool. Like they got like a hurricane punch and everything. Oh, secret. He's getting orange. He has your orange. Well, Lane, they're saying that they're disappointed in you that you're sorry, Mark. Lane is saying he's disappointed in you for not going back and getting those super secret challenge doors. But
doors.
But that just means that you just got to play it yourself. Also, yeah, I'm very in for that fairy checkpoint. It's very cute.
Oh no, boss battle.
Is it boss battle time? Spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
Oh man, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh god, it's a big frog. Oh god.
Ooh, I just walked into that one.
Oh, that's so creepy. Oh god, no. No! Oh god, no. Oh, the boss doesn't actually have like a hitbox. When you there's no collision. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. I'm okay with this choice though, because the player has to get up close and personal for this kind of game to work.
And when you're standing inside the boss, it slowly moves you outside of the boss's hurt box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. sort of slide. So
Yeah, no.
it doesn't let you stay there, and the whole time.
Yep. I'm very sure you could double back on this though. Like if you were to like put yourself against the hole on the hole in the wall on the side, you could probably just like do like a combo or slash loop damage loop on it. Taco. Secrets.
Yeah, I think it is tricky to build a single player campaign on these kind of mechanics, because ultimately every enemy will go down if I just punch them enough. I think Subspace Emissary kind of worked because there was a ton of enemies, but also because the enemies had their own percentages, and so you sort of had to approach them like AI players in Smash Brothers. The enemies in here are a little bit more standard platforming, which I prefer, frankly. But I don't know that I'm motivated to, other than to see the cool animations, I don't know that I'm motivated to actually investigate how effective the moveset is. Now, if there were like speedrunning challenges or efficiency goals or things that rewarded me either with unlockable stages or extra abilities or even just general progress in the game before I encouraged me to learn how the system worked, then I think I'd be, even me, not someone who's not generally interested in learning a fighting game moveset, I think I'd be motivated to do it. But I think the game is still missing a little bit of that. Error here. This is also a game maker game, so I don't know how to interpret this. But it's just but I think we can call. I think it's a good actually stopping point. As much as I do want to see the end of that stage, but the game is available for anyone, I believe, right? We just pulled it right off the itch page, right? The demo is available for anybody, so you should go check it out. It definitely has like an interesting feel. If you enjoy Smash Brothers, like, and you play and remember Subspace Emissary, and what was really interesting about this is leaning in that direction, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, the art style is just outstanding. We have a new player just did a friend request.
Who is this new player?
I don't know, because nobody is telling me their real names tonight, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna play along. It's okay by me. But as someone, as I'm a little bit older, and I just want to know people's names. But I'm happy to talk to who is it that's joining us now?
Oh, it looks like it's Oliver.
Booksy.
Everyone's saying Oliver in chat.
Okay. Oliver. I'm sorry, I don't know an Oliver. I just know this Booksy character. That's who I'm. Booksy. That's how I know them. So that's their real name as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, they just submitted a friend request and then a connection request, which I approved, but then they bounced. Which is a thing that happens in Parsec. So feel free to connect again. There you go. Waiting to connect. You're connected. If you want to join us on the event stage, where you can do voice chat with us, please do. Peter, if you can track them down in Discord and give them that permission, that would be great. Unfortunately, we have a Parsec disconnection.
Oliver, you have the power to join us in the chat. Can I just drag you? 1 second. I cannot drag him into chat with us. So something fun that you can do in Discord is that you can physically click people in like the chat rooms, and you can move them around, which is really fun. But apparently you can't pull people into a call. You can only, like, if they're in a call, you can move them around afterwards.
Yeah. It's also not the preferred way, I don't believe, to work with this, because it doesn't respect roles, I think. I don't know, Discord's still a mystery to me in some ways. But looks like we've got someone named Oliver here in the voice chat. And this other person, Booksy, is connecting on Parsec. So two of you can put your heads together and make a whole player. Looks like you are connected. It failed again, unfortunately. That does happen sometimes. Sometimes there's some people just are not able to connect, and like it's who knows. You just fiddle with the cables or restart your computer or whatever, and it'll work. But we don't always have time to do that. But if you want to give it another shot, please do. I'll accept your request every time. So don't feel that you need to give up if it's not working right away. In the meantime, Peter, do you want to pick a game for next? Do you want to play it? Do we have another player who wants to join? what's the plan?
I was actually gonna say, like, it is 8 o'clock. I think this is the time frame where we're gonna end the event, but happy to continue playing because I know that you want to try out something new with Metro Nexus, and since we have a new other player coming in, I think
do.
we have,
Yes. We are scheduled till 9. So we are 6 to 9. So we've got another hour. Although we can end whenever we want. There's no. We make the rules around here, so you know. No worries. But yeah, let's just take a look at the home screen here. We have some Metro Nexus. We also have a couple more games we haven't taken a peek at yet. So we've got plenty to get through between now and 9. If folks want to join us. Peter, I was thinking of having you run through this part of Metro Nexus. It's a little bit of an unusual playtest, and I would love some feedback. Also, Lane, if you can connect again, I would actually love your feedback in particular on this. It's sort of a UX kind of thing, which I'll explain a little bit more once we get into it. It's just for one player. It's not multiplayer like Metro Nexus usually is. Lane's going to give it another try.
Okay. Well,
Peter, you're connected?
Let's see what we got.
And Oliver, if you can't connect via Parsec, feel free to just join us on the event stage anyway. We can use your voice in your company. No, it's not a players-only clubhouse. No worries.
No. Oh, we have Lane on the event stage with us.
Howdy.
Hey, Lane.
Hey, okay, so we're going to play some Metro Nexus. Is that what I'm hearing?
We're going to do something with Metro Nexus. I'm building it up like it's some big thing, but... so why don't you go ahead and give Parsec another try? I know you were having some difficulties earlier.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to click connect on Icebox. I'm not sure if that's correct.
It is, in fact.
Fantastic.
Right,
what are we looking at? The crowd is just going completely bananas, needing to know what is this owl and typewriter combo that you have going on here?
Oh, well, I could tell the story. You asked for it. So
I really did.
When we started up the Twin Cities playtest, that typewriter is sitting on top of a desktop computer, which was the owl box, or so I named it because of this small statue owl that was given to me as a gift when I worked at a radio station 15 years ago.
So the computer's name was named based on the thing that was put on top of it by you?
In fact, yes. And this was the machine we ran the first couple of events on, separately from my own desktop machine. Now I'm actually, this is the boring part of the story. I'm actually just operating the whole streaming setup here from my own machine, which means I don't have control of my machine when people are playing the games, which is the thing I give up. But that's the reason why I set up a separate machine.
Okay. Are the typewriter keys at least doing like a little clicker clack in the background?
It would be very cool to hook that up, but no. In fact, that is a proper 1950s Smith Corona typewriter that I've had since high school.
Oh, 1950s. So that's even like, does that have any electric parts?
No, it's a fully mechanical. It could use some oil to smooth it out a little bit. I also need a new ink ribbon. But you know, my bad poetry writing days are over.
If Peter were to really disappoint you as a co-host, would you write him his letter of his Dear John letter with one of those?
Yeah. Yes. Send it by carrier pigeon, or hopefully maybe if I like rub that owl's head, it comes to life and can deliver letters for me.
Oh man.
Oh my God, right. That would be a great way to make a drone. All right.
So, both of you are connected. So I believe it should work with either one of you. I don't actually know that for certain because we always test multiplayer here. But this is the more jankier part of the application.
Ooh. I like janky parts.
I see a nice bright. Yep. A nice bright screen.
All right. So nobody select anything. I'm going to go into the test area of the game, which is the world map. So, so before we get started with this, I'll just explain a little bit. So for viewers who have no idea what Metro Nexus is, which may be most of you, it's the game I've been working on for a long time. Set it aside for a while. I'm back to it now. There's two parts to the game. One part, which has gone through years of playtesting, is a single-screen battle game that's sort of a mix between Towerfall and Splatoon. And it's 1 to 4 players, and yes, you can play it with one. It has a single-player complete mode. You can play it with teams. It has lots of mechanics. It's a big part of my game dev education of the past few years, and it has a lot of concepts I'm really excited about. But there's a second half to the game, which is the single-player campaign, which is inspired by a game called City Connection, which is an old NES arcade game, if you know from years and years ago, which not very well known, although I think it was on the Virtual Console. Anyway, in that game, you play as a woman who has a Honda Civic and wants to drive all around the world. Like, her goal is to drive on every street on the planet. It's a very 1980s arcade storyline.
How much did they have to pay you for this, Mark?
Oh God,
so
it's amazing.
So in the game, you travel from city to city, and it's a very linear arcade style game. There's not a lot to it, and it didn't get a ton of fans, and it had no spiritual successors, but I loved its core mechanic. And we're not going to be looking at that core mechanic at all tonight. What we're going to be looking at is the new thing I'm putting on top of this, which is the world map. So in the game, when you start out in Minneapolis, so that the character you play as starts out here where I'm broadcasting from, and discovers it's sort of a near future where we actually have subway systems here, which we don't. In the near future, she's a mechanic who works on this sort of metro system, and discovers a connection that leads to another city, which is called the Metro Nexus. And it's this idea that there's actually this public transit system long forgotten from some old society that made neighbors of the entire world. And so you could travel all around the world on public transit. That's the sort of like silly notion behind this game. So you travel from city to city, opening up new parts of the Metro Nexus, bringing it back to life again. And so in order to do that, you play through 200 stages, which are relatively short. And again, we're not going to be looking at any of those. We're just going to be looking at the overworld. So Lane or Peter, whoever has control, go ahead and select Minneapolis. And you'll see here is the Minneapolis circuit map. And this is the sort of fuzzy, this is what it might look like in this near future, I'm imagining. So go ahead and select this level, Central. And now this is the level where it's just a dummy screen. You can just beat it by clicking yes. So I'm just going to now watch you travel the world on the Metro Nexus. And I'm going to, and just let me know your feedback. Let me know if you understand what any of this stuff means. I'll let you know where things are obviously broken and where you need to figure out what it is. But once you discover a connection to the Metro Nexus, you should be able to go to it from there, but that's not working. Just hit the B button to go back to the world map, and you'll see the connection has been made.
Okay. So making this connection to the thing doesn't actually do a thing yet.
Right. So you start out in Minneapolis rather than starting out on the world stage, and then once you discover this connection, just go ahead and hit the B button, and you'll go back to the world map, and you can now see a connection has been opened to Seattle. And you can see there's even an indicator saying that this way to Minneapolis. And so as you travel through, you sort of see, but just imagine each one of these is like a 2 to 3 minute level, right? Mm-hmm. And you can see on the world map, some stations have multiple connections. So every station has at least 2 because they're on the line. But part of the thing is as you wander through the world, you choose which level to play next, and it's somewhat linear, but you can kind of decide like, oh, I know enough about Tokyo to know that Sydney is south of Tokyo. So if I want to get on the Metro Nexus to Sydney, then I want to look at one of those things on the bottom there. And it looks like we went back. There we go. And so it gives you some clues as to where you might find the connections. So there's a little bit of you do a little bit of hunting for it. But also what it means is in order to go around the world, you do not need to beat all the levels. And so it's just a very, very light, not quite puzzle element to it. And then of course the game rewards you for completing everything or, getting high scores in certain levels as well.
Can you tell us about the thought process behind some of these names?
So all of these are real places. And in fact, a lot of them are literally the names of stops on metro systems throughout the world. Some of these places are a combination of bus systems, light rail, because Metro Nexus takes place in kind of a near future. So I kind of just imagine a near future where cities that don't have a lot of subway systems suddenly do. And the game doesn't really define what it is. You just see the maps, right? You don't actually see what it really looks like in these cities. And that's also a big sort of a thematic element of the game, because our hero travels underground for most of the game. And so doesn't actually see any of these places she's going to. And so you interact with it through these kinds of systems and through sort of abstracted views. But yeah, all of these cities are real places, and obviously, and then all of the stations are either real subway stops or they're like little in jokes or like combinations. Like this is the neighborhood that this stop is in, rather than one of the stops in that neighborhood. In Tokyo in particular, you see Kobayashi, which is actually a suburb outside of Tokyo, and you can see those little indicators that let you know that the line continues. And of course, Kobayashi is just, oh, that's a fun word I like because in Star Trek there's a thing called the Kobayashi Maru. So there's a couple of just silly references, but they all tie to real places. And more than that, they tie into sort of my sort of narrative approach of I really want players to play the game and wonder what these places are and look them up, because I had quite a lot of fun researching them. So, for example, there's a station called Old Mouse, and that is in fact Hong Kong Disneyland. That's Hong Kong Disneyland. So, what? Yeah, that's where Hong Kong Disneyland is. So, there's lots of little things like that I wanted to sort of imagine, like what might the world look like if it was connected by rail, you know, and what might you see? And then, of course, because you don't really see the world, you just see these maps. And this is true. Like if you go to if you travel, you see the bus map or you see the station map, and then it's not really a view of the city, right? You don't understand what any of it means. You can get from here to there, but you don't know what is over there. And you just get hints from the names of things or from features on a map. And that's the feeling I wanted for this, where you're traveling through the world and you don't know why things are called the way they're called. In that Honolulu map, there's a station called Downtown. And so if you've never been to Honolulu, you don't know what it looks like, you get a rough sense of, oh, that's downtown Honolulu, right? And just little hints like that. And then there are certain cities that give you very, very little information, and then some that give you a lot of information. And then, of course, there are places like London, Paris, New York, where people are actually familiar with those transit maps. And so there's a couple of little tweaks on those, or things people will find familiar and recognize. So there's lots of different angles on it. Chandigarh is probably my favorite one because it's a planned city of the 20th century that was kind of a failure. And I imagine it in Metro Nexus to be the hub of the Metro Nexus. So every station in Chandigarh opens up a line to another place.
So secretly all that money was just funneled off the top toward this secret transport network. Nice.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
first of all, this really looks like the sort of game where like I would get into it and then start like looking things up on Wikipedia based on the levels that I particularly love and hate in this game. Like I would learn so much geography just doing that.
Yeah, and that's the goal, because I got a lot out of it from doing the research, and I wanted to bring a little bit of that to players in a way that is at their own speed, right? Like if it's just a case of like, how do I pronounce this? Like if that's enough to get you to go to Wikipedia, then great. And then of course here is a city on the moon, so all of these places don't exist. But
oh my god.
Sirik is a famous astronomer. Surveyor is one of the is a lunar lander, and so that would be the place where Surveyor landed. There's a station called Museum on the moon, and I give no context. So you as a player have to decide, what is that a museum in Taiko City? Is it like, what does it mean, right? And then and there's nothing in the game that explains it. It's just a sort of a fuzzy view into what this world might be. And every of the 30 cities is loaded with stuff like this.
Okay. I really need a little context on the thing that's going on the left. I understand what you're saying with it, is that this particular junction is connected to these particular junctions by a color, correct?
Right. And so the list on the left is actually kind of broken. So you can see
okay, that's what it is. Okay.
It kind of looks janky. It's supposed to be, if you ever go on a subway, if you look above the door, you'll see that sort of like linear map that kind of squishes all together, like it just makes it turn into a list. And that's what this is. It's just not working right now.
Yeah. Okay. Because but I see the intent of it. It's like, oh, like you can take these lines to these lines to get to this place via just looking at this map, color coordinated. And
you can see if when you select a station, a card pops up in the lower left to give you the stats on, and none of those numbers are real, obviously. And then the list tells you the name and on the map. So like there's a redundancy of information, which is meant to sort of feel like you're actually looking at public wayfinding systems, which tend to hit you over the head, and hopefully not being too, still being a proper user experience, right? So this is I just have so much trivia.
God.
I could just go on and on about it. But like Lubenikov there, which is the connection on the Arts Exchange, is a direct connection to Moscow. Now there is no connection, real or imagined, between Paris and Moscow that could be traveled to, except for there was a public arts program in the 20th century where a Russian artist did the interior design for a stop on the Paris metro, and a Parisian artist did the art interior design for a station on the Moscow metro.
Oh my God!
And so instead of those names for those stations, I named them after the artists from the other place. So Lubenikov is a Russian name, but it's a station in Paris. And likewise, the Parisian artist's name is the one it's the only Latin phrase, or Latin character set in Russia. So in the game, the Arts Exchange is kind of like, it's like a magical mystery tour. Like, how do you even travel on it? Like, I don't tell you how you do. Just through the magic of municipal sister cities, I guess. But also that's a thing that you wouldn't actually unlock that connection unless you get a high score in that level. So certain connections are secret, even though in this framing they're just all unlocked when you pick those cities.
Oh my word. Okay, Mike. I'm gonna say like this is pretty sweet, but I have so many concerns about like the actual like level stage design, like the individual stages. Yeah, because this is so like to pick out something that's very archaic for, I'm not sure anyone else in this like stream may or may not have played, but do you guys remember like DDR World?
No, I never played that.
Yeah, this is exactly, or like this is like a really weird DDR game in which you would travel to nodes, complete the challenge via play a song with these certain requirements, and you'd have to DDR it. And then you would go around, pretty much like that. And so like that game had some like ridiculous amount of like specific song, like oh you need 10 perfects on this song, but 5 greats and 5 goods. I'm like, oh, that sounds easy enough, but like that's such a specific like subset of like content or like puzzle creation for that for the game. Yeah, which is not saying it's like a bad thing. I'm just thinking about like this game is going to have those requirements to do.
Well, actually, no, because I thought I don't know that game, but I had that specific exact concern, which is I didn't want to, and for people who've heard me talk about Widget Satchel and my design approach there, I feel very similarly, which is like the game you shouldn't have to bang your head against a wall to beat any game I make. Like that's my goal anyway. So you can unlock all the stations, you can get connections between all the cities, and you only have to beat like 40% of the levels to do that. Because I mean, of course, if you know where the Metro or the Nexus connections are, it's probably closer to 60 or 70% if you're just going through randomly or just based on your intuition. And so, but on top of that, Metro connections are unlocked just by completing the stage, not by doing any particularly time or efficiency challenge, which is something that the game has. Just by completing it. And so that's something I want people to, if they love just unlocking new cities and they want to just go for it, I don't want to put anything in the way of that. If they want to check all the boxes and complete every station in every city, I don't want to force them to move to the next city before they do that, right? So I want to let people take it at the pace they take it at. And it's of course hard to show off here because you're not playing any of the levels, so this is like incredibly like hyper sped up version of this campaign. It's going to be I'm very curious to know once I've got enough of the levels in to see how that pace works, but I do want to test to make sure people understand at least how it works, that the directions are right, that like it's anyway. So I like usability is something I'm concerned about, but I don't know that I'll be able to properly test it right away, but I want to get as much of sort of almost proper testing as I can in the meantime.
Just to give the audience a little tease, do you think that there will be at some point in the next coming months a sampling of the single player content, of what a single player level looks like?
I'd like to think so. I think that I want to get maybe at least half a dozen. I want, and I've built. I mean, years ago when I was first putting this project together, it was a single player only game. So I have a lot of that work I can go back to. But so much of the past few years has been testing the multiplayer mode. And so I'm going to have to re-educate myself as to what my design choices were. I would like to have like you start in Minneapolis, so I would like to have all the Minneapolis stages complete to give an idea of like, to sort of gauge. There should be levels that are just like a cakewalk, and then there are like should be levels that are signposted as particular challenges, and I'm those levels I feel should be the ones that are at the dead ends, or the ones you don't have to play. But there should be certain bottleneck points in the game where, like in New York City, in order to cross the Atlantic Ocean, that might be one that would be a more difficult challenge. Like if you go to the Howard Station, which is like where JFK is, like, or actually the two airports in New York are, that I would like, well, that would be one where I might want to make that one a little more challenging. But then pacing that is going to be, I don't know, it's an enormous challenge, and I don't know if I'm up for it, but it's going to require testing. So I would like to think in the next couple of months that I can get like one city, like one full city experienced, because I think just testing a single level isn't going to do it, because it's so little of the experience of this game. It's all, there's like way too many, it's wheels within wheels, which is sort of my my curse, I guess.
Okay, okay, so I'm a big fan of this overworld map here.
Yeah,
this is very fun, just like, because I get the vibes of like, oh yeah, like I do want to connect these, like it just gives you that feeling, because you're not only adding color to the world, you're also adding a lot of like visibility of like what's in this city. Is like, oh yeah, maybe I could actually go there someday, kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm sort of cringing because like those longer stops, like at like New York City or Barcelona, like those are just, it's little temp graphics. They should actually look nicer than that, and I'm like, it looks so ugly.
I think this looks fine,
but you get the idea, obviously.
Yeah. Like
I'm sure Peter was. I know I was.
Oh my god, yes. I'm sorry. I can't hold it back anymore. Yeah. But no, like it conveys so well.
Peter, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate this new connection unlocked graphic?
Oh, you mean like a little icon? This is like
when the little arrows come out? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, go ahead and find another one. We could see that in action. I am curious to hear your reaction, like whether that reads okay.
You mean this one?
Hell yeah! I mean, pardon me. No, Peter, what do you think?
Oh no, I 100% love it.
It's so good, right?
It has like a like you found the thing. That's what like it tells me.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
Like like you found the secret. And he's like, yeah, and you can predispose, like you said, like it's kind of a puzzle, like a little bit, but like it's very easy to like describe, like, okay, well I know this connects to something nice, or it's the end of the map, so maybe there was like so maybe there's value in there. But like this particular section, I love this section because like everything unlocks a thing.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
This is Super Mario, the Star World, man. This is Star World right here.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's cliche to say you're inspired by Mario, but like that Mario 3, it just is like, it's the perfect overworld system. Like, it's pieces of it have been advanced in the years, but like the core feeling of like walking around on the Mario stage or the Mario overworld is something I really wanted to replicate. But my design required me not to have a character on screen. So like you're not actually moving along the lines, right? You're just highlighting. So I needed to find like, how can that feel good? So having a little animation there on the connections was part of that. Making sure that the color felt really good, so you felt like you were moving even though there wasn't anything actually traversing that line. Yeah, and I hope it comes off okay.
Yeah, I think what you're
kidding. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
I think all these animations are looking really, really good. I'm enjoying watching this.
Yeah, and there's really, I mean, honestly, there's not much to them. It's very, very simple. Like sometimes I'll look at projects that have just this incredible amount of like, animation content in a way that is like so rich and has like all this depth, and I'm like I'm futzing over 2 frames moving a thing left and right for like 2 years, like just because one of the things I decided was that all these like white panels, these like signs that are in the thing, I decided to myself that like they are like backlit Mylar screens. They're not like LCD displays. So I wanted to have as little animation as possible. So when a phrase lights up, when the station lights up, it just switches to that color. It doesn't fade on or anything. That's like a set of rules I set for myself to really limit myself. And then I see like, man, I spent so much time not doing things. And so I'm glad that it comes off as having some richness to it, because I see all the things I decided not to do, you know.
Mark, I've got a little question here, and that is, can I use this sign on the left as a hint to how many connections I can expect to find in the city that I'm in?
Yes, you absolutely can. So if you go back and forth a couple cities, because it's broken right now, you'll see once it highlights on the list. You just got to do it. Can we go to
Addis Ababa? Would I be able to see if that has more connections than just that one?
You can see New York has 2. And so you can see it on that listing. So there's a couple of, I do want to give you a couple of hints, because in the fiction of this, right, as you're this sort of transit worker, this mechanic who's discovering this like big, like old abandoned system that you're sort of like going and flipping the switches on as you walk through it, you do get, I mean, presumably there is signage throughout this network, right? And so I'm not detailing exactly what that character experiences, but I want to give them enough of a hint as to what's coming, what's down the pike, but still giving the gameplay experience of revealing it, right? Rather than, because in a movie you would just discover the map, you know, you'd see it all at once.
Sure.
But yeah, so there's a couple of little hints on that, and actually, I kind of just had an instinctual approach to it. I was like, this looks good, it reads okay, so this is the amount of information I'm going to give to the player. And then other decisions I made after that were based on what I fell into by coming up with this sort of unique structure or look of it. So there's a lot of organic design, ultimately, for what is a very sort of rigidly structured and heavily regulated user experience.
Is the moon going to be like a huge moment where you discover that they actually went there?
It'll be the final world you unlock. So this is where I have to come up with how the pacing works. Like, what happens if you go east on the river line to Tokyo, like, and you end up in Chandigarh, and it's like your 4th city? Well, I need to, like, well, I don't want you to get to the moon right away, and I don't want to reveal that that you can go to the moon. So like, you can see that the visibility is that you can see the grayed out lines one stop ahead of what you can access. And and that's consistent. When you unlock a city, it reveals the cities ahead. But I do want to have a couple of exceptions to that in a way that is sort of surprising and delightful. Like, one of the things I love about like public wayfinding and like municipal transit and all these systems is that they make like 85% sense. Like, if you ever go somewhere and really learn a city. A lot of learning you do is the 15% exceptions to the rules, and so I want to have enough of that, you know, so that, like, it's going to be tricky to balance. I don't want players to feel betrayed. I don't want to tell them something over and over and over again and then it to not be true in a certain instance. I want them to expect that it might not always be true, and that's gonna be a particular user interface challenge, or it might just happen and I don't have to worry about it. But I'm prepared for it to be something that frustrates players, and then I'll need to calibrate, you know.
Oh yeah, were you tempted to do Atlantis at all?
No. I think I have a very specific sensibility in that I hate fantasy.
I love Atlantis.
Okay, so this is why when we're playing Civ, somehow magically winning by reaching an exoplanet first is fine, but a ley line, oof, it's too much.
No ley line victory is for
here. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, like. But yeah, I mean, all of that is like seasoned to taste. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Like, I'm mature enough to know that much. But yeah, I don't think I could. So like, yeah, Tycho City, like taking a train to the moon is okay, but I'm not gonna let you go to Atlantis. Like,
Chad is coming back with a good point. What if it's Atlantis but sciencey though?
All right. Well, I mean, you can write up a proposal and I'll consider it. I'd say this. I do want, like, piecing together this map has been the reason there are 30 cities. Is my original plan was I'm gonna ship this game with 5 cities and then I'll add them as like DLC or updates or whatever over time. But the more I started building out the world map, the more I realized that it was all really interdependent. At the same time, and that's why there's 200 levels in this game and none of them are finished yet. But I mean, I dug that grave, but I do still want to have a DLC that is just not on the Nexus map, that is just you can pull from a menu or something. And so, not that I'm going to do Atlantis, but
Atlantis.
But like Chicago or St. Petersburg or whatever, you know what I mean? Just to be and like sell them as a DLC, which includes like the circuit map, so you can see that overworld of just the city, and then with like 5 to 10 levels, and then some multiplayer stages and artwork. And for people who've played the multiplayer, the other shtick in the game is the different art styles that reskins the levels. That's like outside the scope of this playtest to really discuss. But like, and one of the fun things I want to do is that selling DLC, I wanted to make it the price of a train ticket in that city.
I knew.
Which is like about $2 or $3, and it's like such a perfect synergy of like marketing and design. And I'm like obsessed with that clever idea, even though. Like ultimately, like I don't know how many indie games have DLC marketplaces. Not many, so I have to realistically, it's probably not going to happen. But like it's in my back pocket. No Atlantis, I can promise no Atlantis. But like maybe I'll come up with some other interesting Atlantis but sciencey type places.
There we go.
Yeah,
fine. Okay, no, I will say I love this a lot. I think one of my biggest thing for feedback is that some of it is. Not that it's super confusing, but like I like this particular segment right here, like this Paris and Moscow versus like you see that there's a clear distinction between the two layers.
Yeah,
by like the different kind of linings and stuff like that. Whereas it's not clear in all the cities. I don't remember exactly which one it was. Down, it also controls a little weird, but that's fixable. Let's see. Gosh, where was it? Maybe it's this one. No. There was a city that had this one here.
Yeah.
So like this one, I can only get to Medico through La Raza.
Oh right, because those lines overlap rather than intersect. Yeah, that the game has a very flat art design, and when those lines are not yet revealed, and so when you play the game slowly, right, when you play it at its normal pace, you might get a better sense because you'll unlock one of those lines before you unlock the one that's perpendicular. So which isn't to excuse it, because then later on when you unlock both and you go back for a high score, you may have forgotten that that's how it was put together. So I might entertain a little bit of shadowing in that portion. I do have a lot of rules for what I allow. But that's a case where it would rise to the point of like, well, maybe it's time to challenge one of those rules. You know what I mean? So that is really good feedback.
Yep, I just like because this one is so visible. Like I know exactly where I'm headed when I push it arrow direction.
Yeah.
Like controlling around this map is a little bit challenging at times. That's why.
Could you explain how this Reykjavik to Johannesburg line works?
Oh, well, I mean, it's like anything else. Like,
wait. If you go north at Reykjavik, do you actually go along? Oh, you do. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
okay. So
Honolulu.
And of course, you're not going north, right? Because you're going over the Earth. So
well, at some point you are.
Right, but if you say I'm going to get on if you think of it in like train terminology, like I'm going to get on the station at Reykjavik and head north to Honolulu, and then from there I'm going to head north to Reykjavik.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was, this is something I worked on this week, is a little bit of world building where I needed to come up with terminology for some of these directions, because unlike a normal train system, there's no terminus on the Metro Nexus. Everything just goes around and around. So like east and west tracks okay, but like that pink line right there, like where Mexico City, Tokyo, Sydney, Melbourne, like that's, I could say clockwise, and counterclockwise, but it might actually, like, there might be better terms. And I imagine if in a universe where the whole world is using this system, then there'd be this sort of like global culture surrounding it. And so I wanted to come up with like terms that were less about user experience, because in this case, the player doesn't need to know these terms really. So it's okay for them to be a little obtuse, which is my working theory anyway. So like east and west on the river line, simple enough. But on the meridional line, which is the yellow one, I needed words that would mean, and clockwise and counterclockwise doesn't work either, because depending on which way you spin the globe, that circle bisects differently. So I ended up coming up with what's true in the UK that is the opposite in Honolulu, and I looked it up, and there's a phrase called windward and leeward, which means on an island, if rain, because of the way the wind patterns work, one side of a mountain top, one side of a mountain range is going to be more verdant and arid than the other side, which is going to be dry and with less vegetation, and that's called the windward and the leeward side. So I was like, oh, cross my fingers that if the windward and leeward side of the British Isles line up to the ones in Honolulu, like the Big Island or whatever, and they do, but not.
Oh my god!
But not north to south. They do east to west. So I'm like, it's good enough. So
yeah. It ties together enough. Strings.
My favorite though is that pink line where if you go from Melbourne to Sydney to Tokyo, you're going clockwise, but you're actually traveling along the actual Pacific current moves clockwise. But if you look, that line doesn't just traverse the Pacific Ocean; it also loops around underneath and goes to the side of the Indian Ocean. Luckily for me, the Indian Ocean currents go counterclockwise. So if you're going from Melbourne to Sydney to Tokyo, whether you're referring to the Indian Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, you're going current-wise. And if you're going the other direction, you're going counter-current-wise. That one was a real fun one. And it just happened to line up. And that's the thing I've been searching for when I searching for names for transit stops or for which to choose and which not to, pointedly, when I make build a city map. I very much looked for terms that would have a sense of sort of creation and an implied culture of these places that doesn't exist because it's a future culture, but is informed by the existing culture in a way that is really concrete, that you can actually trace to a real, not just a Wikipedia entry, but somewhere in the Encyclopedia Britannica. You know what I mean?
Mark, you put in way too much thought into this. This is really cool.
I know that's what happens when you have a project that cooks as long as this does. Is you have a lot of time to think about it. Anyway, thank you for going through this. It's been really interesting to see you. Thankfully, it's confirmed a lot of things that I wanted to work, and I'm seeing places where I can tell are not landing with you, even though I'm not getting the feedback directly from you. So that's been very, very helpful. And then your direct feedback also has been super useful. So this is exactly what I need right now. So thank you both. And we've got just enough time for maybe to crack into another game if you're both connected. If you want to try one.
What else do we have here? There were a couple games. Oh, there is oh gosh, is Fall Guys but only an hour browser only?
No. It's good. That's a good one. Although it starts as soon as I click it. So.
Oh yeah, no. Lane, I hope you like Fall Guys.
I know nothing about it, but yes.
All right. I'm just gonna click it.
I only had 1 hour. Great.
And I'm gonna have to give you both keyboard access because
it's only one player, so give it to him.
Yeah. All right. So Lane, you have keyboard control now.
Yep.
Are you ready?
All set.
All right. WASD and spacebar to jump.
Okay.
Go.
Let's do it.
So this is a game. I want to give an honorable mention to this game because it is a 1 hour jam.
Oh, what? Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So this guy, this person, decided to make Fall Guys, but they only had 1 hour to dev the game.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's really good.
Fall Guys.
It's super addicting. I've not played Fall Guys, but I get it now.
What is the AI so good?
But it is 100% the Fall Guys experience.
Can I?
It's very frustrating. Oh yeah, but they obviously they have more punching power than you do, because that's just how Fall Guys is.
Get off of my stage, nerds! Okay, hard to restart. Let's go.
I'll hit the link. I'll hit you guys with the link in the chat here.
Oh yeah, you gotta play this. This is too good. Oh my god,
yeah, no.
it's so chaotic.
What's funny is
How would you do this in an hour?
Because they had almost no time to make it, the camera is locked dead to the character, which is actually a big usability feature, because it means you can totally find yourself immediately, even in a crowd of characters who look exactly the same and are even the same color. You always know who you are. It ends up being a feature.
No, 100%. Fall Guys is very much like this too, because other characters odds are your customization will not match with someone else. But in the event that it does, your character is still the camera is still locked onto you.
There's even like randomized stages.
Yeah. They even okay, so like that's actually I wish they did that for Fall Guys. Denied.
Whoa! I thought that was the stage. Come on.
Yeah.
How does this game have any usability problems? I don't understand.
Because like, okay, so, like,
that was a close one.
Fall Guys has made a huge splash on like Twitch streaming, like as far as like a battle arena games go.
Yeah.
And
it's
yet,
watchable. Yeah.
It's this simple. It's this easy as a game to like make.
All right, let's be careful with that kind of hot take because there was someone made that point on Twitter like a week ago and was just eviscerated by the game dev community.
Yeah, I understand. No, Fall Guys takes a lot of complexity for sure. But I'm just saying, like, this developer made it in 1 hour a very good Fall Guys experience.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine already, like, all those people, like, if you made this, like, you get this online connection capability, all those dots are a person.
Yeah. What was it?
Everyone is. Yeah.
There was a thing a couple years ago that was mentioned recently because of the Mario 35th anniversary, the Mario 35 game that Nintendo's doing.
Yeah.
It's sort of similar to the Mario 99 or whatever it was called, where it was where it was a networked game. It was a browser game networked that ran 100 people playing Mario, and it had a very similar kind of like sort of chaos feel of this, where as you fell or got hit, you got eliminated. And just like that kind of idea is like it is easy to sort of get on its feet, and then what happens after that is the big question. And it shows that like it actually, what it says is like novelty is overrated, right? Like Fall Guys is conceptually there's not much to it, but it's so good that like the real like praise I would give to that team is that they spent all that time refining it and they didn't like dilute it at all. You know what I mean? Because the temptation to give it more or make it different, it would just be, very strong.
Yep, I agree with that too. I think Fall Guys is that.
Holy crap!
Yeah, no, like the strength of Fall Guys is that it's a game that is like control wise like 100% consistent throughout the entirety of its like contest and genres, and it's something that everyone can get into. It's like it has that Mario feel through and through.
Yeah. Lane, I'll tell you, I've never gotten better than 2, ranked 2 in this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I played this for like 10-20 minutes and I can't get 1. It's just not possible. I don't know if it's possible.
I wonder if it's just narrowly impossible. That would be funny.
Yeah, no.
Just to fully replicate the Fall Guys experience, right?
From a Fall Guys. It's a true Fall Guys experience, guys. It's amazing. Spam jump, they said. It said it makes you go faster.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, the trick is to not jump off the stage, though.
Oh my god, you people are way smarter than me. Holy crap. But that is hard. Okay, but that's just the sort of risk-reward mechanic I was hoping this game would have.
Yeah, because if you jump and land on someone, you're within their bounds, and so you end up flying further just by consequence of the physics system. So it's definitely a really effective risk-reward.
Who even said that? How did you even notice that?
Oh, it was in chat.
Yeah, these people in chat are way too smart today. Oh, God! These people in chat are setting me up with their dumb mechanics. Oh, this is very nice.
I've got to see you place first. I just got it.
I need to see it too, but this crowd does not want it to happen. Come on, baby! Oh, no.
When the path splits.
I'm just gonna kill myself here.
As the path splits, you can sort of see yourself getting closer and closer to making a decision of which way to go. And just in those 5 seconds it takes. Meanwhile, you're also desperately trying to outpace everybody, and you're like 3 or 4 seconds away from like leaping ahead of them. And I did this all the time, playing this the dozen or 2 times I played, which is just like
that was the run.
Just like
so
biting off more
punishing.
than I could chew in those moments, you know?
Okay.
The other thing I tried was I just tried staying behind the pack for most of the time, so I was not at risk. And then just once it got near the end, just trying to overtake them. I did okay a couple times. I'm not sure it's a winning strategy, but I have seen that in Fall Guy videos where like that's like the funniest Fall Guy videos is someone in like 40th place, like somehow ends up in first, you know?
Yeah, my god. Okay.
The game is punishing.
Oh, it so is. Oh my god, dude! This game achieves the most impossible gaming ratio of. It probably has more gameplay in it than it took to create it. That is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I put it as like an honorable mention. I was like, do I really want to showcase this? But like, I do enjoy how much thought was put into this 1 hour game jam.
Oh, gotta start doing that. Ah!
So close.
No!
Yay!
Oh, did you get it? Did you get first?
Oh man, with 9 minutes to spare. I mean, I would have gone past 9 for this, but
Oh man.
Okay, squeaking it right at the end.
yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
All right, thank you guys so much for the opportunity. That was great.
Thank you, Lane, for being able to do it. It was great to watch. I was never gonna see it on my own.
Yeah, happy to be here. I don't know if I could live up to Reed's achievement of actually beating that first game, though. Holy crap!
That was
Oh,
great.
yeah, no.
That is
Roll home was crazy.
It's very instructive because Peter and I were both convinced, and I was like analyzing it and being like, nope, I'm pretty sure that I've considered all the possibilities. Like, I even said like, maybe I'm wrong, but like, I couldn't imagine how I was wrong, and just seeing in relatively short order that I was super wrong. Like that is, I love those moments. You know what I mean? Like that's just to see, like that's what playtesting gives you, like it from all angles, right? Is just to see like, like there's way more going on than you imagine. You know?
Oh, okay.
Like in your own work and others' work.
I just want to like sit back and listen to you take on this question from Six No Mayo in the chat. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh, this is why can't they do this in Nice Games Club? Get something so good in a 1 hour game jam.
Oh, that's mean.
Ooh, that's cold-blooded, Mayo.
Well, we did. I mean, you just give me an opportunity to hype our recent episode. We did a live 1 hour game jam as part of 2D Con, which happened a couple weeks ago, and that for Nice Games Club for viewers who don't know is the podcast that I co-host with Steven and Ellen, my lovely game dev pals, amongst all of my game dev pals. And we do 1 hour game jams from time to time, but for that one we did it live on camera, so we got to see more props, and there was no editing; it was all live. So that's on YouTube now, youtube.com/nicegamesclub. You can get right to that. And then the audio for that episode, if you are just into the audio only, that's going to be on the normal feed, so you can subscribe. Nicegames.club. So that's my little unexpected pitch here at the end of the night. Peter, do you have any final thoughts before we pull the plug on this thing?
I do. I want to give a shout out to everyone who came out to play tonight, but I also want to let you all know that if you guys have games yourself and you guys want to get your games on the stream and get them play tested by other players and play tested by us, other developers, email us. Let us know. You have the link in the Discord. Send us a post. DM like myself, Peter, Mark LaCroix is also on the Discord server. There is a whole avenue of games that we know are out there in Minnesota, and I know they all need to get tested, and so we want to continue providing the service of playtesters and feedback and all this other, even like just highlighting fun things going on out there. So if you do have something, like post it in the stream chat, post it in the Discord, at us, like at Peter, at Mark, you'll Discord will pop it up, and we would love to get you guys' stuff on stream.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter, for curating tonight's playlist, seeking out those in-development games. It was really fun to check them all out. You made a spreadsheet with those, which is how I was able to find them all and download them. Maybe you can share that spreadsheet in chat, just so everyone's got those links. If you don't mind your draft out there.
Oh yes.
Or you can just paste them all into chat, just so there's like one place to find them. Because I think it would be good for people to take a peek further than what we did tonight.
Yeah, so there's some other games that didn't make it into the chat. I just posted it into the stream, and I'll post it in the Discord too, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also Peter found some other games that we just couldn't play tonight because they were browser only, and I'm not really set up to make that work. So there's a couple of interesting things that we just couldn't do tonight, and then ones we didn't have time to. So while you're in there looking for the links for the games we played, go ahead and grab those other ones as well, because Peter put some time in to make sure it was all really good for learning how these things are made and seeing these things at early process and the cool ideas and the polish they're already putting into these early demos. So until next time, Peter, do we know exactly when next time is going to be? I'll open up the calendar here.
Oh yeah, let's find out.
Third Wednesday of October. That is the 21st of October. Will be our next Twin Cities playtest. The next IGGATC event is next week, same time and place here on Twitch, but it's VR and HCI, so it's also taking place, I believe, are they using AltSpace still, or are they on, is it Mozilla Hubs or something now? It's something.
But they post all the information, like if you come join the Twitch stream, they tell you exactly how to get into it. So.
Yes, they're very cool, very friendly, and like if you have a VR headset or you don't, you can still join them live. It's a really, really cool experience, very unique. All of our events are pretty unique, but that one's really fun. Details on all of that stuff and all of IGGATC's programming, iggatc.org. All right, we're ready to pull the plug finally.
We are. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out.